What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 11 JJK Chapter 304 Advertisement Ryuichi in the mirror repeats the same action. But there was no movement. A trace of doubt flashed through Ryuichi's long and narrow eyes, and he leaned forward, as if observing whether there was some mechanism in the mirror. Everything is too normal. Does a mirror only appear once? Right now. The Ryuichi in the mirror did not follow the front to invite the body, but picked up the red wine and sipped it in his mouth. Although the movements are still very stiff, they obviously have their own consciousness. After all, I can't help but come out. Ryuichi raised the corner of his mouth lightly, seeming to show disdain for the creature in the mirror. But the problem is still unresolved. Why is there no magic power? Is it really a ghost? Over time, the movements of Ryuichi in the mirror became more and more proficient. He can even somersault on his own. Ryuichi looked at the figure jumping like a monkey in the mirror. Although he knew it was not him, his eyes showed a little anger. This guy is really looking for death, but now we still need to wait patiently. Since this guy has appeared, it is impossible for him to keep attacking him. In this way, 10 minutes passed. The fake inside finally couldn't bear the temptation, while Ryuichi looked down at the red wine. In the mirror, the corners of Ryuichi's mouth were split, the entire lower jaw was exposed, and the 2 rows of fangs rushed towards Ryuichi's head. For an instant, a trace of curse power appeared on the mirror surface. It is this curse power that is as thin as a hair and light as a dust, really so abrupt in this empty villa. It was as if a candle was suddenly lit in a dark room. Although it is so weak and small, it is indeed so eye-catching. A hint of sarcasm flashed through Ryuichi's long, narrow eyes. Finally came out. Boom! Ryuichi punched out, and instantly shattered the fake's jaw. As it retreated into the mirror, he grabbed the fake Ryuichi arm and went straight in. The world in the mirror. The environment around Ryuichi observers. Is it really the world in the mirror? The world in the mirror is not much different from the outside. But here is full of curse power. This world seems to be constructed by curse. After seeing the situation clearly, he knew why. The appearance of the fake Ryuichi didn't reveal the power of the spell. This is basically 2 spaces. Gia. Isn't it good to be alive outside? How dare to enter my world? Advertisement, hey, your body, I want it, excellent body, with it, I will definitely become a king. Ryuichi watched him yelling hard there, and a weirdness appeared in his heart. Do I have such a second grade? Rumble, click. The roof in this world began to twist, turning into a drill, spinning wildly in the void. The vibration even made the space begin to shake. Ha. Go to hell, I will make good use of your body. The space around Ryuichi seemed to be glued, restricting his body. Buzzing. The drill was drilled down vertically, and there was no room for relaxation. Ha. As long as I eat your flesh and blood, I will. Ryuichi looked at him calmly, a trace of speechlessness in his eyes. It feels so ashamed to look at him. With the current strength of the body, the dragon could not break the square with just this degree of attack. Pung. Ryuichi broke free from the shackles of space and walked to the fake. You guy, can you change your face? The fake Ryuichi's eyes are full of shock. How can this guy escape my control? This is impossible. Ryuichi didn't talk nonsense, and put his palm on its head. Can you change it? The fake Ryuichi felt the power on his head, and his body began to tremble slightly. You. Don't mess around. If I die, you will be stuck here and can't get out. The expression on Ryuichi's face remained unchanged, and the strength in his hands continued to increase. Then you have to see how hard this guy is. You. The big deal will die together. Don't press it, it will really die. Big brother, I was wrong, I'll change it now. Ryuichi looked at the fake and changed the look of a middle-aged man. Ryuichi sat down, and there was an extra chair in the neutral position. As if welcoming the return of his master. This. The fake looked at the situation in front of him, but his brain was a little overwhelming. Obviously I came first. Why is there something here that I can't control? Or twice. Advertisement, go ahead, what's going on? Ryuichi is sitting on a wicker chair, resting her right hand on it. Seeking flowers look at the fake's ahead like a king. The fake knelt on the ground frightened by the invisible pressure. Actually, I don't know too much. When I was conscious, this space had already appeared. Whenever someone came to the mirror, a sentence kept popping up in my mind. Imitate him. Eat him. Replace him. This sentence seems to have become my instinct. Whenever someone shows up, I start to imitate his actions, but no one can persist in front of the mirror until I eat it. Speaking of this, he carefully raised his head. I met you this pervert the first time. This sentence can only be meditated in my heart, but I dare not say it. Ryuichi looked at him with interest, a trace of interest in his narrow eyes. This guy only has the strength of level 3 cursed spirit, but he possesses human-like wisdom. Is it their unique mechanism? Ryuichi doesn't talk too much nonsense, it doesn't make much sense to ask. Just when the fakes are happy that they can survive. Ju Ling. Dispatch generals. Suo suo suo. Black incantations appeared on the surrounding space, like chains. Occupy on his body. Click. With a crisp sound, those black spells disappeared into the fake's body. Ryuichi's hands are often black, and his eyes are blank, and he sits on a wicker chair. The life of the fake, like a slide, slides in front of his eyes. Ryuichi frowned. This guy's soul is incomplete. All the memories are intermittent, there are men and women, old and young, and the background is constantly changing. This guy seems to be just a small part of an imaginary cursed spirit. The corner of Ryuichi's mouth lifted up, and something fun should have happened recently. The world in the mirror opened. The mirror in front of it, like lake water, has ripples. Ryuichi's figure passed through, and the ripple disappeared. Ryuichi. You finally came out. Scared me to death. I thought you had something wrong. Is there really a ghost? Did you have a fight? Is he dead? Daling and Lixiang returned from shopping and found that they were missing. Subconsciously looked at the mirror in the bathroom, but didn't dare to look in the front. Can only wait on one side. The matter is resolved. Pay. 2. Chapter 305 Advertisement. Early the next morning, Gojo Satoru came to the house of everything with a shopping bag. Ryuichi, is this the crystal pudding I just bought? I want to take a bite. Gojo Satoru opened the box, slapped it in the air twice, deliberately put it in front of Ryuichi. It's like children showing off their newly bought toys. Ryuichi ignored his childish behavior, then opened his own potato chips and took out a can of happy water from the freezer. What's up? Gojo Satoru took a beautiful bite, his blue eyes half squinted, enjoying the process of melting the delicious food in his mouth. Bang! A jade card appeared on the table. It has a circle outside and inside, and the whole body is white, with a hollow relief of a six-pointed star in the middle. At a glance, there is a different beauty of mixing things. Ryuichi ate the potato chips and felt the magic power spreading from it. This thing should be the key to a magic circle. Gojo Satoru finally finished the pudding in his hand, closed his eyes, as if he was still reminiscing the taste just now. The matter has been clarified, and the mouse den has been taken. They hope you can become the guardian of this generation of seals. Ryuichi opened his eyes from the jade card. The corners of his mouth were frivolous, and his eyes were full of contempt. Who says they're always confused? Aren't they doing this business very well? Gojo Satoru seemed to know Ryuichi's reaction and picked up the jade medal. You don't want it, then I want it. Their yard is quite beautiful, and I just need some personal space myself. Ryuichi leaned back in his chair, slouched, and said in a frivolous voice, there are a lot of people dead there. Do you want this place? Dead? The living are not afraid of any dead people? What is the dead man for these families? After speaking, Gojo Satoru was about to leave. Oh, by the way, if you want to see his body, you can come to me. I can save his head for you. Ryuichi rolled his eyes. The last word of this guy was to disgust him. Click. The window behind the room was opened. A dark figure jumped in from outside. Shire, haven't you seen such a big door? Fuhesher stood in front of Ryuichi, hooked his head, and asked cautiously, Boss, what's the news lately? Fuhesher, this guy, since he had the sweetness of selling information. Whenever I have time, I run to Ryuichi to find out if there is any hot news recently. Advertisement. No, don't always think about making money from these crooked ways. Honest work is the kingly way. Fuhesher looked at Zenin Ryuichi speechlessly with a black line on his face. The boss has become more and more shameless recently. Who hasn't worked hard? Do you know anything about the death of Juharu Nakado? He did everything about shopping malls and subway stations. Fuhesher looked shocked. He still remembered that he was in Juharu's home when this incident happened. Kill him if I knew it. Yep. Shire recounted the contradiction between them, and a flash of amusement flashed in Ryuichi's bright eyes. Iharu Nakado is going to die everywhere, and he can still sit in that position. It's really. Then it's okay, I'll go now, looking at the back of Fuhesher leaving. The room was quiet again, and Ryuichi leaned on the chair and looked at the ceiling. A pair of pale blue gossip odd discs appeared in his eyes. A mysterious power radiated from his body and gradually filled the entire room. The odd game is open. The odd gossip disc in Ryuichi's pupils turned quickly, and his soul gradually broke free from the body. Came into a world composed of countless mysterious characters. In the center of this world, a small golden orb floats in the air. Ryuichi stepped forward and came to the ball. Where is the deity of the mirror ghost? Raising his hand gently, the moment the finger touched the small metal ball, the odd door game turned again. The mysterious air around him slowly drifted like catkins in the wind. The original small metal ball instantly became bigger, like an old-fashioned television. Interesting. Unexpectedly, just a coordinate can reach this level. Slowly push both hands towards the golden ball. 6 Immortal Thief Treasury warned him again, if you go forward, you will suffer a lot of harm. But Ryuichi didn't care. Since you want to get information, it is inevitable to pay the corresponding price. There was a firmness in that youth's white eyes, his hands stretched out, and his arms fell into the golden ball in an instant. Click. Bang bang bang. Advertisement. The power of horror swept through his body, and a wave of violent energy burst into his body. The energy hidden in the internal organs of 6 immortal thief Treasury quickly surfaced, repairing his body at a strange speed. This kind of confrontation did not last long, and after a short while, Ryuichi read all the information in the golden ball. That's the case, no wonder it's just a coordinate, and it has a price of such a scale. Ryuichi stood aside and smiled sideways. The mirror ghost deity is still sleeping, and an unknown cursed spirit forcibly decomposes his body into small cursed spirits. These cursed spirits do not need huge energy to act on their own, swallow humans through instinct, and accumulate blood energy. In the future, they can swallow each other and become deities. As for those cursed spirits that are dead, their power will be passed on to other cursed spirits that are not dead through the soul link. Withdrawing from the mysterious space, all the mysterious aura dissipated. Ryuichi propped his chin and kept clicking on the desktop with his left hand. A smile flicked across the narrow bright eyes. In a void in space, there is no sense of the passage of time, no concept of space. The vast expanse, if not without starlight, it is more like the depths of the universe. In a corner of this space, a light blue figure is observing hundreds of mirrors in front of him. The above shows the current status of each little mirror ghost. More than a dozen of them have been darkened, and it seems that they have been removed. Yu Shui, even if that is the case, are you willing to continue to stay? A sound that seemed to exist or not, passed through the entire space and entered Yu Shui's ears. Yu Shui's eyes didn't leave the mirror, and he faintly replied, I have been outside for long enough. If I don't come back, I will almost forget who I am. Foolish learning is a collection of human desires and fears of knowledge. Although the combat power is insufficient, the IQ is online. Under King of Curses, the owner of that eyeball, arranged to be an undercover agent with other cursed spirits. But the same thing keeps happening. Finally, he was arranged to the human world and asked him to provide information for cursed spirit. In this way, dozens of hundreds of years have passed. Its leaders have long since disappeared, and he is still living a low-key life in human society. Chapter 306 Advertisement. In the blink of an eye, the time came to November. At this time, the weather has cooled down, but the pedestrians on the street still go their own way. Don't give any face to this weather. Enlightenment, cursed spirit activity has decreased recently, do you know why? Sha Yuja sits among the teachers and talks to Gojo Satoru. After training in autumn and summer, Sha Yuja's strength has now improved a lot. But after returning, after seeing Gojo Satoru and Ryuichi, the joy in his heart gradually disappeared. It turned out that hard work seemed so worthless in front of talent. I don't know, but isn't it a good thing? I can't always be like summer, I can't wait to be there 24 hours a day. Gojo Satoru said here, holding his head in his hands, leaning back, looking like I'm tired. Sha Yuja raised his mouth when he saw him, making himself look happy. My heart is full of helplessness. Having worked so hard, and with the help of the killing stone, he still couldn't catch up with his footsteps. It's hard to even follow him, I am pretty tired. The corners of his happy mouth trembled slightly, and he almost couldn't help becoming frustrated. Yaga Masamichi walked into the classroom and saw his two students. A sense of pride arose spontaneously. These two super jujutsu teachers are my students. This feeling is fleeting. I was frustrated by Gojo Satoru's lazy appearance. Snapped. A stack of files was left on the desk. The attention of the two of them was attracted to him in an instant. In the last month, Fusong suddenly reported dozens of missing persons. The official has nothing to do with this. Please ask our Jujutsu College for help. You two have been idle recently. This case will be handed over to you. Wow. A stack of documents was pushed in front of the two, with personal information on the missing persons. Bye-bye. After posting the task, Yaga Masamichi didn't even look at it and just slipped away. Don't give the two a chance to resist. The moment Sha Yuja got the information, there was a trace of unnaturalness on Sha Yuja's face. Then he suppressed the throbbing in his heart and looked through it patiently. Sorrow, don't you want to take a look? Gojo Satoru spread his hands and looked indifferent. In this world, so many people are missing every day, can we find it? Besides, these people are all over Fusong. We can't visit one by one. Recently I have a friend who lives near the equator is coming. Let's go out and relax together. Advertisement. Sha Yuja paused when he flipped through the information, but did not stop. Go ahead, I'd better take a look, lest Teacher Yaga says we are irresponsible. Gojo Satoru saw Sha Yuja's persistence, so he stopped saying more, said hello, and left the classroom. Sha Yuja stopped turning his hands and looked at the back of Gojo Satoru leaving. He couldn't help clenching his fists, and his whole body was shaking slightly. The killing stone emits billowing energy at this moment, moisturizing his body through his skin. Whenever Sha Yuja was emotionally unstable, she always did this. It seems to be to soothe his emotions, but in fact it is to make him dependent. Sure enough, Sha Yuja let out a sigh of relief, and the smile he had once returned to his face again. Looking at the information in his hands happily, however, the Kobe area was thrown in the corner by him. So the time came to mid-November. Gojo Satoru came to the house of everything with a helpless look. Ah, headache. Ryuichi, help me, help 100 million. You are too dark, I am going to complain to you. Go ahead. Looking at Ryuichi, who is full of leisure, don't mention how envious it is. It was originally a task assigned by Jujutsu High School, even if it could not be completed. That's not a big problem, after all, there is no evidence that this is caused by cursed spirit. After a delay, just giving a reason will pass. But now Jujutsu Division has also begun to disappear for no reason, after the senior officials learned that he was investigating the case. Push this task directly to him. There is no way to see politics in his place. What's more, this case has indeed risen to the point where it needs to be handled by the Jujutsu Division. But he has no clue. I can only come here to try my luck. Ryuichi, do you know about the frequent disappearances of Jujutsu Master recently? Do not know. Ryuichi probably knows what Gojo Satoru is having a headache. It seems that even if it is as strong as the pupil of the sky, there are things that cannot be seen through. Excluding Brother Naohua, now there is another Mirror Ghost. Mirror Ghost moves so hard now, it seems that he is ready to recover. When Ryuichi thought of this, the corners of his mouth didn't lift himself up, as if he had found some kind of funny toy. His expression was immediately discovered by Gojo Satoru. It seems that Ryuichi still knows something, but he should be ready to do it. In this case, then I don't have to worry about it. In this way, there is still a sum of money left. Advertisement. I'm glad to have a dessert at Anshinju, in Osaka. Then it's okay, I'll go now, bye. Seeing Gojo Satoru's excited back when he left, Ryuichi shook his head helplessly. Although I can't see through it, my observation power is as strong as ever. Fool, how short is it to wake up now? Yushui locked the screen in the middle. There is a mirror ghost on it Huayasidining, and its aura gradually rises to the top level. Probably 80 more are needed. The speed is too slow now, we can't wait that long. In fact, there is another way. All he needs is physical energy, and we can grab people directly for it to swallow. But by doing so, the ultimate mirror ghost's ability may not reach the expected value. The voice fell, and this space was silent for a long time. Be optimistic about it. If there is any change, put it to death directly, don't show mercy. The imaginary cursed spirit is only worthy of being our tool. The sound disappeared, and the space returned to calm again. Yushui looked at the mirror ghost on the screen, and his light blue eyes kept flickering at this time. It has now reached a certain limit. Human fear has not improved its ability. But now, it feels that it may still have room for improvement. In the next half-month, the number of missing persons in Fusang has increased several times. Everyone on the street is in danger, and everyone looks like a murderer. Gojo Satoru ran to the house of everything during this time. Annoying Ryuichi stayed directly in the mirror world. Although it is single here, but fortunately no one bothers. On this day, the world in the mirror. What? A scream awakened Ryuichi, who was dozing off. Streaks of flesh and blood were dissipating from him. A strong smell of blood filled the entire space. Get up and look. The mirror ghost next to him is kneeling on the ground and wailing. The original flesh and blood on his body was stripped and floated in the air. Instantly turned into fine dust, I don't know where it disappeared. A gleam of excitement flashed through Ryuichi's long, narrow eyes. It's finally about to start. Chapter 307 Advertisement. A world in a mirror. There is no variegated color in the blue sky, and the beautiful courtyard is full of colorful flowers. Rockery, running water, everything is so cozy. Ah, impossible. How can you be so strong? Ha ha ha. Honestly, it was swallowed by me, isn't it? Have to become like this? In the courtyard, a muscular man with violent veins looked at the front with a grinning face. At this moment, a person is lying on the ground. All the clothes on his body are destroyed. Forehead, arms, and thighs are not intact. Sadness has a shocking wound. If you touch it at this time, you can even see the bare bones. Nakatu Jukangren. Why are you still alive? Why did you bring me here? Do you know what you are doing now? You let me go now, I can plead with that elder. The fake Nikado Juching had a dangerous light in his eyes, his scarlet tongue licked his lips, and his sharp teeth were exposed at this moment, and a foul smell came out. Jia. Nikado Iharu is dead. I am a mirror ghost. You will all be the food in my mouth, used to awaken my power. Kabuki grabbed the palm of a fan with one hand, and directly held Jujutsu in it. Put it comfortably on your lips. Creak, Gudong. After just 2 bites, I have eaten my stomach. Ha ha ha, I can feel it, this is my strength. My power is back. Immediately, the wind blew up suddenly. Rumble. Click. The whole mansion was blown up instantly. At this moment, the blue sky actually began to crack. In that crack, what was revealed was not the emptiness of darkness, but the light. It's the light like the sun. Through the cracks, shining into this land, a little warmth was born. Snapped. The entire sky shattered like a mirror, and the outside sunlight finally came in. Mirror Ghost looked at everything in front of him greedily. This is his world. The real world. Ha ha ha. I succeeded. If the mirror ghost does not eat people, it can only survive in the mirror. Advertisement, but the world in the mirror is only that piece, and the rest is nothingness. Even if you become stronger, you can only move in this world. And this courtyard can only be printed in it by seeking silly learning. This world is pretty good, the banter sounded from behind the mirror ghost. Jingui turned around, waited for his eyes wide, the blue veins violent, and he looked at the figure in front of him with an unbelievable expression. Impossible. How could you appear here? I am the manager of this world. It is impossible for anyone to appear here without my perception. Hoo. The squally wind rose again, and the surrounding soil was swept into the sky. Suddenly, a huge tornado appeared in front of him. Ha. Whoever you are going to die. Mirror Ghost's ability has just been improved, and he is excited to direct the forces of nature to attack his opponent. The clothes on his body were also bursting because of the excitement. The last trace of dignity of the defender who is still strong with only a pair of shorts is left. Ha, don't you think it's too slow? Jingui's laughter stopped abruptly, and a cold voice sounded from behind him. Impossible. I am the king of this world. The sky was suddenly clouded. The field of vision is very obstructed, and I can only see a place less than 20 meters in front of my eyes. Is there a few amphibious white lights in the dark clouds? Rumble. The huge roar is like a war drum, constantly beating on it. Click. A huge lightning, like a punishment from heaven, pouring down with the intention of destruction. Light up the dark world instantly. Boom, zzz. The place where Ryuichi originally stood was cut into a huge pit in an instant, and scorched mud was flying all over the sky. There are even several currents flowing on it. Jingui looked at the giant pit, his chest rising and falling violently. Using the force of nature twice in a row is still a bit brave for it now. Compared to using natural intelligence, don't you think that using your own power is more powerful? Ryuichi ignored the trembling Kagami in front of him. He closed his eyes lightly, letting go, feeling the true degree of this world. Advertisement. Not long after, the mind returned. The moon-white eyes opened again, and a trace of boredom appeared on his face. Although this world can be real, but Chengdu was still too low, still unable to withstand his full blow. Even releasing the vigor of the Yuki Orochi can destroy it. Moreover, the upgrade of the world has also minimized Jingui's control over here. At present, only the power of nature can be used. Even the previous space restrictions can't do it. Are there gains and losses? A trace of clarity flashed in Ryuichi's bright eyes. Now that he feels good, he is now. Diaresis Juling. Layers of black mist appeared in the surrounding space, turning into profound black texts, gradually reaching the limbs of the mirror ghost on the neck. Stop, now. A dark passage suddenly appeared above the sky, and the figure of a little girl appeared in this space. It has reddish-brown hair, white and tender skin, a small nose, and cherry-like red lips. If it has bright eyes, it must be a sweet and lovely girl. But it didn't. With the sticky black hole at the back, it looked so terrifying. After the little girl passed, the black channel instantly expanded. It turned out that Gojo's tree-like thick meat tube was connected behind the little girl. Click. The sky finally couldn't support it at this moment, and it began to collapse. This time, what was showing through the cracks was no longer light, but emptiness of darkness. Shattering. 5 eyeballs appeared behind it. Li Lihao looked from a distance, like a little girl holding a newly bought balloon. Ryuichi did not listen to its nonsense and was ready to move on to the next step. I let you. Stop it. The space seemed to be stagnant at this moment, and Ryuichi's Ju Lingchang hadn't finished using it. The original black chain shattered to the ground, and slowly disappeared with the passage of time. Ryuichi frowned, and the momentum on his body erupted instantly, crushing the cursed spirit that appeared to the ground instantly. Mirror Ghost originally thought he was rescued, but the next second he was pressed to the ground and couldn't move. Zenin Ryuichi. I have no intention of being an enemy of you. Everything I do is to welcome the king. I hope you can leave the Mirror Ghost. I am willing to exchange with you for something else. This cursed spirit doesn't even have time to introduce himself, and now he just wants to talk about the conditions well. With the least loss, in exchange for the greatest benefit. A joke appeared in Ryuichi's long, narrow eyes. It's mine, you can't run it. Chapter 308 Advertisement Yushui watched what happened inside in front of the screen. It also persuaded, but it was useless. It seems that we have to find the next one. Looking up, as if reminiscing about the past, then raised his hand and swiped, a hole appeared in the space. The figure disappeared in this space. It already has the next goal. The world in the mirror. The dark clouds in the sky have dissipated, and the cracks that appeared between them have been repaired. It seemed that kind of calm at the moment. Ryuichi looked at the little girl lying on the ground, and the corners of his mouth floated with a smile. You use my things to negotiate terms with me, are you worthy? The little girl was trembling with anger, but she couldn't do anything about it. When you want to do it, those teleporting scrolls are provided by it, and there is a little breath on them. It is stronger than what happened after it appeared, although it is not too clear, but it is also a general idea. They couldn't provoke the man in front of him. If you want to summon the king, you must go around him. But, I can't seem to go back. Zenin Ryuichi, are we really out of talk? What do you mean? There was a dangerous light in Ryuichi's bright eyes. How do maggots deserve to talk with the gods and demons? Collar. Ryuichi folded his hands into claws, swiped upwards, turning his claws into seals, and folded his hands together. The dark and mysterious chains climbed onto Jingui's limbs again. Send General. Click. All the chains were closed and disappeared under the Mirror Ghost skin. Mirror Ghost, who was trembling on the ground, relaxed now, standing respectfully behind Ryuichi. The little girl saw that the general situation was gone, and did not struggle again. The eyeballs behind him who tried to raise them were lying on the ground, motionless. As if ready to accept the fate of death, Ryuichi has completely controlled the world at this moment. I found that although it is not as wide as the real world, but the scope still covers the entire Fusang, and you can freely control the weather here. It's a holiday destination. Kurong status -1. Ryuichi finished feeling and looked at the little girl on the ground who was waiting to die. Don't you have anything to say? Our king will eventually wake up, and the whole world will become its territory after all. Advertisement. If you can let me go, in the future, there will eventually be your seat next to the king. How about it? Ryuichi is very curious about the king, it says. It sounds like it is an existence older than Ryōmen Sukuna. What exactly is your king? Our king, our king, our king. Puff puff. Before it could speak, bubbles began to gush out from its body. Unknown energies filled its body through the bubbles. Like an aphid, it slowly erodes on it. Our king, I didn't say anything. What? Bang. With a soft sound, the little girl and the eyes behind her disappeared. There is no trace. A dignified look appeared in Ryuichi's moon-white eyes. This solemn feeling hasn't appeared for a long time, and it suddenly came to mind at this moment. It seems that the so-called king is not a small character. However, all this has nothing to do with him, now that these guys know to avoid themselves. Then this kind of trouble will inevitably not be too much. As for the future, what to do with me? Ryuichi returned to the house of everything. Gojo Satoru was found sitting in his office watching TV. You are too conscious. This is my place. When Gojo Satoru saw Ryuichi come back, his originally happy watch suddenly became sad. Hurry up and tell me, where are the Jujutsu teachers? How much do I have to explain? Otherwise, I will be scolded by Teacher Yaga again when I go back. Look, my hair is all white. Ryuichi ignored his nonsense, returned to his office chair, leaned back, and lay down directly. Just go back and say that the matter is over. Gojo Satoru's beautiful eyes lit up, and the whole person seemed more energetic. That's great. Can you tell me the details? So that I can go back and write a report? Ryuichi didn't want him to bother himself here, so he repeated the incident. You mean, you have a place where you can travel across the country, and there are no idlers? Ryuichi gave him a blank look. Is this the point? In addition, I learned from a cursed spirit that they are preparing for the resurrection of the king. This sentence calmed Gojo Satoru, who was originally happy. In the room, only the sound of pen rubbing on the paper was left. Advertisement seeking flowers. Okay, I know, I will inform the above about this matter. I can't say exactly what will happen. Ryuichi is noncommittal, and he doesn't care much about it either. Gojo Satoru stopped talking, and left the house of everything with his own things. At the same time, in a foggy space, a black coffin lies quietly in the center, covered with mysterious patterns. At the first glance, you will fall into it, and you will be unable to extricate yourself for a long time. The strange thing is that on the black coffin, there are countless chains tied up, and each chain is engraved with strange runes. The whole looks like an artwork placed in an exhibition hall, for people to visit and appreciate, but, obviously, no one here appreciates its beauty. The surrounding fog is more like a qualified soldier, enveloping his king. Nothing is allowed to break through their defenses. Coo. Now, the black coffin seemed to be called in some way. It shook back and forth a few times. Click! A gap was exposed on the edge, and a weird purple was exuding from it. The light seemed to have its own wisdom, issuing commands to the mist outside. The space shook, and a cloud of mist was sucked into the black coffin. Calm was restored in the space again, as if nothing happened. What was the sound just now? Is there something in it? Impossible. This piece of gray fog does not even dare to approach us. How could something run in? I don't know when the king will be resurrected and lead us to the top of the world. Wait. Thousands of years have passed, and it is not bad to wait for hundreds of years. Buzzing. When they were talking, the gray mist began to drift around, as if trying to find the owner of these voices, and then eat it. With the disappearance of the sound, the gray fog returned to its former calm. Quietly guarding the king side, waiting for it to call again. Yushui is walking in midair at this moment. It has goals, but no direction. Only rely on instinct to wander in the air. Who are you? Above the void, a voice came. Yushui's eyes lit up, and his goal was found. I am a fool, and I am here to seek your help, too. Chapter 309. Advertisement time flies quickly. Today is Christmas Eve. In the streets and alleys, there are lights and festoons, and the faces of pedestrians are filled with happy smiles. All Things House, the door is open. The hardworking figure of Nanami Kento is still active in the first step of work. Fujiisher took a leave of absence with Ryuichi early, and wanted to take Fuheiwei out to play in the past few days. Naturally, Ryuichi wouldn't refute his face with this little matter. Although I usually don't see anyone at work, Ryuichi is eating potato chips in the office and watching TV. It's been a long time since it was so easy, squeak. The door opened. Ryuichi, it's snowing outside, come and have a snowball fight. Gojo Satoru looked up and observed the situation inside, and found that Ryuichi was watching TV. Can't help but send out an invitation. Let Sha Yuja and Yaga Masamichi accompany you, I won't go. Ryuichi 553, are you talking about me? Zenin Ryuichi, I can't think you can remember me, I'm so touched. Two familiar voices sounded from outside the door, and Sha Yuja and Yaga Masamichi appeared at his door. The two of them were holding gifts, and they seemed to be preparing to surprise Ryuichi. Don't go. Good-looking guy Ryuichi. Let's come to see you. Wow, the handsome guy from Gojo's family is also here. I am so happy. Dailing's voice appeared above the aisle of the House of Everything. Xiangyu also stood on the side happily. Dailing's parents are in business and will not rest at Christmas. Instead of being alone, it is better to call Xiangyu out to go shopping. He didn't hold any expectations, after all, the monks would definitely not spend Christmas. As a result, Xiangyu's grandfather, who didn't know what he was up to lately, has not come back. The two hit it off and went out to go shopping. As a result, they came to the House of Everything after strolling around. Hello. I'm Fuyi Dailing, and her name is Shufu Xiangyu. We are the customers of Wanshiwu. Previous. Ryuichi's lazy voice came from the office. The former customer, that is also the customer. Dailing turned her eyes and saw several people holding gifts in their hands. The two of them were empty hands and felt embarrassed at once, their cheeks became hot, and a faint pink color appeared, whether they were cold or ashamed. Several people also saw her embarrassing attitude, but Gojo Satoru was very polite. Grabbing all the gifts in his hands, he threw them into Ryuichi's room. Advertisement bang. The door is closed. Perfect. Let's go out and play together. Yeah. A group of people walked to the door and saw Nanami Kento at work. Nanami. Do you want to play with us? Gojo Satoru is going to call this hard worker out to relax. After all, working hard every day will make you old. Go ahead, I will be off work in a while, and I need to get off work before I get off work. Gojo Satoru shrugged and left with everyone. He once doubted that in such a small House of Everything, where there are so many civilian jobs that keep Nanami Kento busy from morning to night. It turned out that I got closer. Nanami Kento guards the various taxes of the House of All Things and also holds the information source of the House of All Things. And he is still managing his bank account for Fuhesher. Put these things together, Gojo Satoru said directly. Too difficult. As everyone left, the House of Everything finally returned to peace. Merry Christmas to you. Lin Meisha wore a pair of boots, a high-necked wool sweater, a Christmas hat on her head, and a Christmas gift in her hand. A beautiful Santa Claus alive and well. Thank you, but Christmas is still 7 hours away. Yep. Is the point of the question here? Didn't you see a beauty in front of you? Well, I have something tomorrow. I will give you a Christmas present today. Well, thank you, if nothing else, please don't affect my work. Just leave. Lin Meisha had 2 more bulges on the fat faces of some babies, which looked like a bun. But at the moment no one is going to appreciate the scenery. Can only walk alone in the snow, watching others go in and out. Tonight, you have a name called Single Dog, at the same time. Hawking Temple in Kyoto. Shufu Throne was waiting anxiously at the gate of the temple. He didn't know that he had been waiting here for a few days, although his heart was heavy. Advertisement, but as long as there is a ray of light in your heart, then you have to carry it out. Seeing the sky full of Baishui, I can't help feeling mixed. I hope Xiangyu will not resent me. At that time, I waited in the House of Everything for 2 days, but no one was seen. He came here in a hurry and found out. As soon as Yu Tianhua left a message, he said that he was looking for a friend, but the next day, the wealthy businessman took a few accountants and management. Temporarily took over the temple, saying that it was entrusted to them by Yu Shenhuai when he left. The two are just right, so no one doubts. Because of this, Shufu Throne was very sad. Great Buddha, if you have spirituality, please bless Yu Shenhuan in peace and safety and come back early. Bang. Patter. The rosary rolling in his hand broke instantly. A tear fell silently to the ground. After the heavy snowfall for 7 days in a row, everyone gradually changed from the original joy to coldness. Because of the heavy snowfall, all traffic and roads were blocked, causing all companies in downtown Tokyo to take a holiday. Although work has stopped, life will continue. This increases the cost of living. Every worker who rests at home does not have a smile on his face. It's a lot of sorrow. All things house, boss's office. There is something wrong with the snow this time. Gojo Satoru sat across from Ryuichi's desk, holding hot tea in his hand, staring at the snow outside with the blue eyes of the sky. It seems that I want to see a little curse power from above, so as to determine that this is caused by cursed spirit. But he was disappointed. This is ordinary snow, there is no difference. Very good, so quiet, it would be better if no one interrupted. Gojo Satoru picked up the teacup and pretended not to hear it. Although I haven't seen it, I think this incident must have been done by cursed spirit, but it is not clear which one it is. Ryuichi glanced at the window with her white eyes that month, and there was no magical power floating in the snow outside. But it was the first time I saw Fusang under such a heavy snowfall. Even if it wasn't what cursed spirit did, no one would believe it. Probably so, maybe it's the birth field of a certain curse. This sentence reminds Gojo Satoru that if it is really caused by the cursed fetus, then the cursed spirit formed by it is definitely not weak. Among the special grades, they must also belong to the upper level. I'll talk to Teacher Yaga about this matter, lest I don't care about life. Chapter 310 Advertisement. After Gojo Satoru finished the call, the expression on his face relaxed and he was speechless. Teacher Yaga has sent Sha Yuja to investigate, and he said that if I remember to investigate, the world would have been destroyed. It's too irresponsible to say this. When Ryuichi heard this, there was a hint of interest in his eyes. Except for the elders of the Gojo family, there are not many people who can give Gojo Satoru a headache. But now that Sha Yu has gone, there is nothing to worry about. Sha Yuja's strength has recently increased quite terribly. It shouldn't be difficult to deal with a super cursed spirit. It's almost New Year's Eve, so we can't make it easier for us. Gojo Satoru looked at Ryuichi intentionally or unintentionally, and saw Ryuichi watching his nose watching his heart, and he didn't answer anything. At this time, it is 100 meters above the ground in midair. Hoo-hoo-hoo. A huge bird is walking through the clouds. Each instigation of the wings is accompanied by a hurricane, which blows away the surrounding clouds. This will ensure that snowflakes will not fall on your body, and you can also view the situation inside the clouds. Look carefully, and on the big bird's back, there is a person looking around. It seems to be looking for something. Have you guessed wrong? Sha Yuja looked at the scattered clouds around and did not find any traces of cursed spirit. No, this heavy snowfall is too weird, it will definitely not be a normal natural phenomenon. Half an hour passed, and the snowy place was basically visited all over the place. The opportunity of the clouds in the sky was blown all over, but the cursed spirit was still not found. Are you looking for me? Suddenly, a cold voice came into Sha Yuja's mind. Sha Yuja looked at him and found a beautiful girl in a white kimono diagonally above him. Its smiling face is full of spring, and its collar is loose, exposing that charming collarbone, as if not afraid of the cold weather. At this time, a few snowflakes floated slowly on its skin. However, Snowflake did not stop for this, as if everything is false. Snowgirl? When Sha Yuja saw this situation, the first thing that came to mind was the Snowgirl. BWGB. According to legend, the Snowgirl is the daughter of a mountain god. She looks like a human being. She will seduce men who are away from home and return to the mountains to squeeze their energy. Although it belongs to the imaginary cursed spirit, if the strength is concerned, it is far from the current level. Unexpectedly anyone knows the Nugia. Would you like to learn more about it with me? The Snow Girl stretched her arms forward, and the snow-white kimono slipped down instantly. It's not necessary to understand deeply, I am more interested in your body. Sha Yuja didn't care about her temptation, although he didn't know what was going on. But catch it, and the matter should be resolved. Bang bang bang. Advertisement. 7 or 8 bird-shaped cursed spirits appear behind Sha Yuja. Quack quack. Cuckoo. With Sha Yuja's heart moving, all the cursed spirits instantly rushed towards the Snow Girl, inflaming the gale generated by the wings, even blowing away all the clouds in this area. At this moment, there was a snow vacuum period. Ha ha ha, don't be so impatient. Seeing this, Shui Nu pursed her lips and chuckled, emitting a chuckle like a silver bell. It sounds like a girl waiting for her husband to return home, impatient but wanting to refuse. These little pets are so ugly, let's replace them. Shui Nu twiddled the flowers with her right hand and swiped it forward gently. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Click. A violent cold wind struck violently along her sleeves. The few cursed spirits that were approaching in front of him were frozen into ice. Bang. The ice crystals shattered and turned into dust, which filled the clouds. Anything else? If not, you are my one? Shui Envy still spoke with spring eyes, but the murderous aura in her voice made Sha Yuja feel a bit of chill. Sha Yuja frowned and stared at Snowgirl, although he has a lot of flying cursed spirit. But the strength is similar to those who died before, and there is no way to cause any harm to Shui Nu. It's a bit difficult. At this time, Zenin Ryuichi couldn't help but appear in his mind. If it were him, the problem must have been solved by then. No, what he can do, so can I. The killing stone seemed to perceive Sha Yuja's mood. Release the warm current again. Sha Yuja thought about it, feeling the power of the killing stone. The corner of his mouth lifted slightly, and a trace of determination was revealed in the narrow eyes. Since you want to see, let you see my strength. Come out. Bang bang bang. Behind him appeared hundreds of cursed spirits of various shapes. All over the sky, it looked like a well-trained unit, waiting for the command of the officer. Shui Nu looked at these cursed spirits with disdain in her eyes. This is the case in the Jujutsu world. If you don't have enough strength and want to use crowded tactics, that's a joke. Advertisement: so many low-level cursed spirits, for it, raise their hands and destroy them. Giggle. So there are so many, but they are so ugly, I don't like it very much. Shayuja narrowed his eyes and said softly, don't worry, the beautiful ones are in the back. Sacrifice. Bang bang bang. All the cursed spirit bodies below suddenly exploded, turning into masses of pure curse power, converging towards Shayuja. The pure curse power was collected in his hand, but it was not directly absorbed, but was directed elsewhere. The snow goddess watched this scene seriously, and she couldn't help but feel a little puzzled. What is this guy doing? Killing teammates before starting the fight? This is the first time I've seen this kind of operation. But, it's all over, she is also tired of playing. Glitter. Do you want to make me happy? Don't be so grand, as long as you become my collection? The white and flawless jade arms raised again, hoo-hoo-hoo. A hurricane stronger than before was mixed with the surrounding snow. Rushed towards Shayuja. Shayuja felt the coming attack, his expression unchanged. He is waiting. Wait for a chance, wait a moment. He wants to personally let an imaginary cursed spirit spawn. Click. A crisp sound came into Shayuja's ears. The lingering cold wind blew in front of him instantly. Shayuja's eyes opened suddenly. It's now, snapped. The sound of breaking sounded instantly. A dazzling white light enveloped Shayuja. Ling Ling's cold wind blew, and the white light remained unabated. What? Shui Nu looked at the situation in front of her, her eyes widened in an instant. Its attack was easily resolved by this white light, and it seemed even more effortless. Moreover, a powerful and enchanting curse power instantly emerged from Peng Yang. The whole piece of Tiangong was embellished in a dark red color. Shayuja's figure gradually appeared, looking at the snow girl with a gentle expression. Before you become Yuzhao, join, Chapter 311 Advertisement. Shayuja looked at Yuzhao in front of him, the expression on his face gradually distorted. Did you see Zenin Ryuichi and Gojo Satoru? This is the reward of my hard work? 2 lines of tears couldn't help but slip from the corner of his eyes. Unlike Zenin Ryuichi, he can directly use Jujutsu to control cursed spirit. He can't sign a contract like on Myoji. All he can do is to remove absorption. It's as boring as a mechanic who assembles parts in a factory. Absorb cursed spirit every time. It's as disgusting as swallowing a rag that has been treated with excrement. Recall the various experiences of this year. In just one summer, he absorbed no less than 400 cursed spirits. This kind of growth is really painful, but all this finally paid off. Shui Nu looked at the sudden appearance of cursed spirit with a shocked expression on her face. She wears a strange mask on her face, and her whole body is wrapped in a kimono. Only one pair of feet is bare in the air. As if he didn't want to show his appearance in front of outsiders. Jade. In front of Yuzhao. Impossible. How could Yuzhao-chen be enslaved by humans? It's all fake. You dare to deceive me. I want to freeze you into an ice sculpture. You can only be placed in my collection room forever. Go to hell. Humans. Hoo-hoo-hoo. The bitter cold wind hit again, but Shayuja stood firm. Because he knows that Shui Nu's strength is far less powerful than Yu Zhaoqin's. As predicted. Before the cold wind hit, it was blocked by an invisible wall of air. I couldn't even touch the vellus hair of the person inside. Impossible. How can our existence be contaminated by small humans? Shui Nu was no longer reserved, grinning, the raised blue veins at her temples, ready to move. Wow. A delicate rose appeared in her hand. In this icy world, added a touch of life. It looks so beautiful and moving. Go. The snow girl waved her hand, and the bright red rose rushed away. The emerald green flower stalk exploded in the air instantly, as if it had never appeared before. The bright red petals were not bound by the stems, floating in the air, taking advantage of the surrounding cold wind, slowly flying towards Shayuja. Shayuja's eyes narrowed. This seemed to have no destructive force. But there are endless murderous opportunities hidden. Advertisement: the space in front is full of fine needles condensed from stems. And those petals were indeed condensed by endless curse power. The density is so great that I dare not imagine it. Mainly touched by external forces, what awaits him is definitely a gorgeous firework. Wow. There is an extra folding fan in Yuzhao's hand, which is shallowly blocking his chin. Not caring about the upcoming attack. Stop, just one word, but it makes people feel the secretion of adrenaline hormone, as if there are countless soft hands stroking your heart. You can't help but want to protect her. The sound was like a command, the attack that had come swiftly, as if the pause button had been pressed. Ding, motionless in the air, and then transformed into a rose again. Falling slowly, finally staying on top of Yuzhao's head. Like a hairpin, it doesn't look obtrusive. Add a touch of beauty to her monotonous costumes. Yu Zhaoqian seemed to want to return a gift, and the fan was slammed in front of him, and wisps of light pink dust flowed out of it. They seem to have no weight, but they are so heavy. It was not blown away by the surrounding cold wind. Everything around it seemed to lose its color at this moment. Only this faint breeze pink was left in his eyes. Shui Nu was attracted by this attack and had no resistance at all. He opened his mouth slightly and his eyes were dull, just as he watched the pink piercing into his body blankly. "Oh, my body. What did you do to me?" After the dust disappeared, the snow girl came back to her senses. Its body became a battlefield at this time. Two magical powers entangled in it. Both want to expel the other party, and the belly occupies this body. Shui Nu couldn't launch any attacks now, she could only twist her body in the air. Used to relieve one's pain. Yamazao-chen, you are really Yuzao-chen. Why would you obey this human's command? Could it be that you have forgotten your identity? Shui Nu wanted to use her own roar to awaken the other's memory. However, the silence was indeed deadly. The body began to collapse at this moment, and pieces of skin fell from the body like a jigsaw puzzle. The two energies of pink and white are entangled with each other, and are exposed to the air through the fallen skin. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Sha Yuja came to Snow Girl and looked at it condescendingly. Do you need help? Not long after, Sha Yuja had a black ball in his hand. Without hesitation, he swallowed it. Advertisement. Ancient capital. The moment he swallowed, his eyes opened wide. That disgusting touch came again, and stomach acid surged in his belly. Almost spit out the lunch I had eaten. Fortunately, he has long been accustomed to this feeling. In 3 or 2 minutes, it was over. Wiped the saliva from the corner of his mouth. There is one more thing in the hand. Diaresis super cursed object Ryōmen Sukuna's finger? Fusang. Somewhere deep in the mountains, an ordinary cave. It was so dark that people would subconsciously ignore it when they saw it. Even if it feels something is wrong, there is nothing wrong with it. Go deeper, within half an hour. It will step on a soft ground, and a faint candle will float on the wall. Bring some light to this dark cave. That fellow Shui NV has been out to play for several days, why isn't he coming back? There won't be any trouble, right? A naive and hoarse voice sounded from the front. Looking closely, an inhuman figure squatted in the corner. It has the beak of a bird, the limbs of a frog, the body of a monkey, and the shell of a tortoise. It has a lotus leaf on its head and looks very ugly. At first glance, it looks like a hodgepodge of animals. Gudong gudong. Slightly, li li jiao. Don't worry, it likes to go out looking for prey. Haven't you eaten a few of its collections before? As soon as the voice fell, the sound of drinks rose again, and just listening to it made me feel dizzy. As if drunk. Ta-ta-ta, there was a rush of footsteps. Not good. Ryōmen Sukuna's finger, one missing. What? What? Two surprised voices sounded instantly. Isn't it the snow girl who stole it out? I've said the importance of this thing hundreds of times. Why dare you steal it out? Boom. The candle flames on the walls on the left and right became bigger in an instant, and the flames went straight to the ceiling of the cave. Like two royal guards, offering gifts to their king. Everything around was revealed at this moment. A huge gourd is located in the center of the candlelight. There is also a beautiful young man standing beside. Chapter 312 Advertisement. The red candlelight river illuminates the entire cave. Pieces of human skins are stacked on the ground without any rules, stitched into a huge soft carpet. Countless weird curses are intertwined together, looking so weird. Countless heads covered the walls, and scattered white bones were laid on the ceiling of the cave with an extremely absurd beauty, like an extremely evil picture scroll in hell. Click. The ground couldn't bear the strength at this moment, and it began to slowly disintegrate. Juden boy, don't be angry, maybe he will be back soon? Kappa's eyes widened, feeling the powerful curse power around him, and swallowing carefully. You just told me not to worry, aren't you more anxious than me? Yep. Ju-tun boy turned his head to look, and even a family of flames could be seen in those monster eyes. Kappa did not dare to speak, lowered his head, and retreated to the corner. At this moment, there are only two of him left in the cave. The cursed spirit who came to report was already shattered by this powerful aura. Juden boy knew that it was meaningless to be angry now, so he could only hope that Yu Xuan would come back soon. Even if it can't come back, it's best to send the finger back. Otherwise, there is no escape from death. The relationship between cursed spirit and cursed spirit is very complicated. The cursed spirit, which was born from human negative emotions, and the cursed spirit, which was born in the human imaginary, compete with each other. No one looked down on who, arguing with each other for thousands of years. There is no difference. However, there is a special category, which is the cursed spirit born after the death of Jujutsu. Generally speaking, these cursed spirits are very weak. But there are exceptions, that is Ryōmen Sukuna. At that time, he ruled the Jujutsu world with overwhelming power and stood at the top of the Jujutsu world with an invincible posture. After it died, the fingers did not change and became a super cursed object. This has also become the object of competition between the two sides. In order to be able to compete for a helper, but now, their only 3 fingers were stolen by the snow girl. And has not returned for 7 days, how can this make him not angry? Go out and look for it, even if it is dead, bring your fingers back. Yes. Above the brilliant sky, hidden is an independent space that ordinary humans cannot see. 2 figures sat cross-legged in this space. There is a chessboard in the middle. Snapped, snapped. The 2 sides did not speak, but played chess quietly. Snapped. Advertisement wow. Height C fell, and the white character was hollowed out in an instant. What followed was a heavy wailing. Both sides didn't care about it. Obviously this is not the first time this situation has occurred. I won. The voice was flat, as if it was telling a trivial word. Yes, you won. Do you have anything to say? Yu Shui has been here for some time, but since entering, he has been playing chess with this old man. He thought he was good at chess, so he didn't refuse. But after I started, I found that I still had a lot to learn. After several days of fighting, he finally won this once. However, only this time is enough. I want to know everything about Zenin Ryuichi. After thinking about it for a long time, it finally led the problem to Zenin Ryuichi. It wants to know why this man is so strong. Several adults suffered repeated wounds on him. After hearing the words, the old man thought a little. Pieces of white mist gradually rose up around him. After a while, stars began to appear on it. 1, 2, 3. After a long time, above the white mist, the stars were shining. The old man didn't speak, and looked up at the sky. His old gaze seemed to have penetrated the time limit. Looking for the answer I want in the course of time. The starlight above the white mist began to turn. As time goes by, it turns faster and faster. Suddenly, a dazzling white light appeared, covering the entire white mist in an instant. Oh, my eyes. The old man covered his eyes with his hands and lowered his head in pain. The dark liquid dripped slowly through the fingers. Yu Shui looked at everything in front of him in shock. Is Zenin Ryuichi so strong? Even this adult can't find out his details. When Yu Shui was shocked, he saw the liquid that was slowly left behind. The light blue hand slid out, trying to catch the liquid as much as possible. With the absorption of liquid, the color on Yu Shui's body began to change. From light blue to light blue gradually. Not good. This is not a place to evolve. The change in the body awakened Yu Shui instantly. Advertisement. What is the difference between improving your strength at this time and looking for death? Strongly resisting the urge to become stronger, the color of his body faded again. After a long time, the old man finally opened his eyes. But there are no pupils inside at this time. It looks terrifying. I can't answer this question, you can change it. This adult has a good temper. Foolish learning does not stop, and asks the question in his mind. Why didn't you prepare for the resurrection of King of Curses with other adults? After the old man heard the words, a little smile appeared on the wrinkled face. The resurrection of the King cannot be avoided, but it cannot be advanced either. What they did together was just to get rewards from the King, but I didn't need it. Their cursed spirits are born from the negative emotions of human beings. Although they have their own thinking, they still can't escape the bad habits of human beings. This can be seen from the fact that they look down on the imaginary cursed spirit. And I was born in time. For me, following time is the biggest reward for me. Don't you say it, Yu Shui. Yu Shui nodded nonchalantly. There was so little similarity between the two. As long as it keeps ingesting knowledge, it can experience endless fun. Although they were all born out of fear, the gap between them is comparable to an abyss. Thinking of this, Yu Shui clenched his fists. Now it seems to have found a way to improve its strength. The probe looked at the old man with yearning in his eyes. Human knowledge has been learned by me, and I will no longer improve outside. Can I follow you and study here for a while? The old man remained silent, and the white mist rose again. What? A scream sounded. The mist that had just risen disappeared. What's wrong? Are you okay? I have a potion that can repair the cursed body, please use it. Yu Shui took out a tube of potion from his body, which he had previously used his identity to take. In order to deal with emergencies. After the old man used it, he really got better, although the pupils were still not visible in his eyes. But at least it won't be sudden pain. Well, you actually have nothing to learn from me. The two of us continue to play chess. The old man does not trust Yu Shui, but now his eyes are tingling, and he cannot use Jujutsu again for a short time. Can only delay time. By the way, what kind of human is the Zenin Ryuichi, you asked? When Yu Shui heard this, a faint smile appeared on his face. He is just a relatively powerful human. Chapter 313. Advertisement. Jujutsu High-Level Meeting. The meeting place is the meeting room of Jujutsu College. The people around are sitting here awkwardly. This is the first time I have a meeting in such a sunny place. This is the first time I have seen you. How do you feel when you come to our Jujutsu College? How do you feel? Gojo Satoru is sitting here, just like returning home. The whole person is lying on the chair, the left armrest is against the neck, and the right armrest is hung with bent legs. God knows how such a tall person curled up like this. After the incident of Iharu Nakado last time, he moved the meeting address here. Because he doesn't want to be like a mouse and have a meeting in the sewer. The sun is shining here, so great. Ahem. Gojo Satoru, what do you call us this time? The elders spoke at the first time. After all, if they did not ask the subject, their meeting might go into the middle of the night. The length of time does not matter. What matters is that none of them wants to sit with Gojo Satoru. Well, since you have nothing to say, then I will go straight to the subject. Bang. A finger was thrown on the table. Ryōmen Sukuna. Where was this finger found? Seal it right away, otherwise, countless cursed spirits will come to compete. Unexpectedly, I found another finger. I really want to take it back and study it. Gojo Satoru, how did you get this thing? The people around were discussing fiercely with their fingers, and the eyes of the elders were full of caution. Every appearance of Sukuna's fingers is bound to be accompanied by a wide range of cursed spirit fluctuations. This will cause people's attention and may cause turbulence. It snowed continuously during Christmas, so Yuji went out to find the reason. I found out that it was an imaginary cursed spirit snow girl, playing a ghost. Gojo Satoru stretched his right hand forward and made a gesture of please look. The meaning is obvious. This is the finger that Yuji fell off after snow removal girl. Snow girl. Imaginary super cursed spirit. Last year there were many special cursed spirits, right? I feel that cursed spirit activities have become more frequent recently. Hey, extinguish the spirit every day, you can't experience the life of ordinary people. Simple, leave here, we promise not to disturb your life. The surroundings began to noisy again. Indeed, there were far more super-class cursed spirits appearing throughout the year last year than in the past. There were even 2 hypothetical cursed spirit manifestations. Suddenly there is a feeling of wanting the end of the world. Everyone shook their heads and threw this absurd idea out. As a jujutsu teacher, how can you believe such a ridiculous thing? Gojo Satoru, you discovered this thing. You can make your own decision, but my advice is to seal it. Advertisement. Otherwise, the curse from this thing will cause a lot of trouble. When they encounter Sukuna's fingers, they usually seal them directly, and then give them to Master Tianyuan to guard them. After all, speaking of seals and enchantments, who has Tianyuan proficient? Gojo Satoru throws Sukuna's finger into the sky at will. Gululu. Bang. A little cursed spirit couldn't bear the temptation. It was flicked by Gojo Satoru's finger directly. I want this thing to be useless. Since I brought it here, I just want to ask you what to do. Gojo Satoru didn't care about Ryōmen Sukuna. No matter how strong it is nothing more than a strong one 1,000 years ago. Even if it recovers, he and Zenin Ryuichi will be able to suppress it. If it weren't for knowing that Zenin Ryuichi doesn't like trouble. He really wants Ryōmen Sukuna to find a physical rebirth and fight him and Ryuichi. See if there is a gap between the former invincibility and the current invincibility. Thinking of this, a trace of curiosity flashed through those cyan eyes under the sunglasses. Will Ryuichi agree with this idea? The people who were still discussing the problem suddenly became cold all over the body for some unknown reason. They looked at each other and saw the surprise in each other's eyes. Subconsciously shifted his attention to Gojo Satoru. After all, only Gojo Satoru is qualified to threaten their safety. Haha, don't worry, because I want to challenge my previous invincibility, it's okay to find a body for Ryōmen Sukuna to revive him. You can rest assured. Gojo Satoru looked at everyone's nervous eyes and knew what they were thinking. I couldn't help rolling his eyes. Am I so free? Go to fight with an old man. Everyone. Ahem, since this is the case, I will bring this and finger to Master Tianyuan for sealing. Agree. Seconded. Quote. Okay, if this problem is solved, then nothing will happen. Then I'll leave first, bye. Gojo Satoru put his jacket on his shoulders and left the office. Ahem, since everyone is all right, let's go away. Seeking flowers. The others gradually left, and the old man sitting at the end came over respectfully. After all, he had sent things before. Advertisement. Naturally he had no choice this time. You go back, I'll send it this time. The old man was taken aback when he heard the words, but didn't dare to talk more nonsense, and left quickly. Hey, it's time to meet again. Not long after, he drove to the place where Tianyuan lived. Push the door and take a look. The elders who watched stayed for a while. Although he knew that Tianyuan had arranged the room. But I didn't expect it to be so thorough. TV, mobile phone, game console, computer, and even an arcade machine in the corner. Is this still the Tianyuan he knew? Without thinking about it, he walked straight to Tianyuan. The body of young people is full of youthful vitality. Looking at it this way, it seems that this room is not so unacceptable. They only experienced the transformation of Tianyuan this time. The rest just relied on word of mouth from previous generations. Maybe after the Tianyuan assimilation, the character of the mind will also change with the change of the body. Master Tianyuan, I need your help this time. Tianyuan slowly opened his eyes and looked at him calmly. What stood out from the clear eyes was incomparable maturity. Zishui Shushu, why are you here today? Is it the end of the world? When Zishui Shushu heard this, she smiled bitterly. It seems that Tianyuan has really changed, and now he will be joking. No, I found a finger of Ryōmen Sukuna recently. I would like to ask you to seal it and help guard it. With the addition of this finger, Tianyuan now saves 5 fingers here. If those cursed spirits know this, they will find a way to break through. Take all your fingers away. Even the guardian of his fingers is a Tianyuan who claims to be the same age as the Jujutsu world. Okay, it's not the first time anyway. After speaking, Tian Yuan closed his eyes again. It seems that I am not prepared to say more. Seeing this situation, Zishui Shushu trembled, and there was a sentence stuck in her throat, but she didn't know what to say. Okay, I'll go back first. With the departure of the voice, Tian Yuan put his finger in front of him, feeling the powerful curse power on it. There was a trace of greed deep in his eyes, but it was quickly suppressed. Hehe. Ryōmen Sukuna, Soil. Chapter 314. Advertisement. The time has come to February, and this month is over. The weather in Tokyo should steadily improve. Fuhesher sat in Ryuichi's office, unbuttoned a can of beer, and looked bored at the phone. Recently, cursed spirit activities have decreased, and Fu Haihui has taken a vacation. Vohesher rarely went out on missions. I spend most of the time with my children. Today Fu Haihui and his apprentice Toto Aoi went out to practice. He was idle. You hire child labor, but I won't pay. A lazy voice came from the front. Ryuichi is lying on the office chair at the moment. This chair was modified by him, lying on it, just like lying on a bed. It is very comfortable and even has a massage function. Fuhesher looked jealous. You don't need to pay, and there is no good cursed spirit lately. It would be nice to let the two of them go out and exercise. Yes. 557 Ryuichi's white eyes showed a smile. I hope you can be so calm in a while. Fu Haihui and Toto Aoi came to a small river pond according to the task prompt. Wei, are you wrong? There is no cursed spirit here. These two little guys, one is Shear's child and the other is Shear's disciple. The two people have known each other a long time ago, just because they live too far apart. Otherwise, he will definitely become a good friend. But it's not bad now. No, I followed the map and I can't go wrong. Fu Haihui looked at the phone to locate it, but there seemed to be no residents nearby, so who was the reporter? Wanshiwu doesn't look at the authenticity of the orders. Doesn't this make us go for nothing? Walk around. Go back quickly, maybe I can find another order. Fu Haihui took a close look at the surrounding environment and confirmed that the mission was invalid, and then followed Toto Aoi away. Oh. Layers of ripples dangled in a river pond, and a lotus leaf rose slowly. A pair of blind eyes stared at the two young men who left. How come these two kids got the breath of their fingers? Could it be that his family took the fingers away? It's okay. I caught them, so I have an explanation when I go back. Base. Whoosh. Wei, be careful. Toto Aoi felt a strong wind behind him, and he felt bad. Without time to observe, he subconsciously pushed Fu Haihui a hand. The two figures separated instantly. Advertisement. Bang. The earthy ground instantly lifted up layers of dust. Hiss, what's the matter? Was it cursed spirit just now? Fu Haihui fell to the ground, and the huge impact made him unable to resist, taking a breath. It should be, but I just didn't know why I didn't feel its curse power. As the disciple of Tien and Tyrant, what Toto Aoi has always accepted is not to rely only on eyes. Try to perceive cursed spirit through your body, because your eyes can be deceived. But perception will not. However, just now, he didn't feel a trace of curse power. Fortunately, the reaction nerves are fast enough, otherwise the two people may have explained this. If you let your friends have an accident here, how can you afford to be called a man? What are you? You attacked behind. The dust slowly fell, and a bald scoop with short limbs and an ugly appearance appeared in front of them. Fu Haihui saw this image and immediately matched it with the legendary ghost in his mind. Are you a kappa? Ha. I thought that the children nowadays don't listen to the story, but they can still be recognized. Yes, I am a kappa. Since you all know me, just follow me obediently, don't let me do it myself. At that time, it won't be as simple as skin and flesh. Kappa held his hands and scanned the two children back and forth with those blind fish eyes. Two little guys, the one standing is about level 3 strength, and the one who fell to the ground is about level 4. Single quote. After learning of the curse power in the two people, the disdain on their faces became more serious. Toto Aoi couldn't stand this look, his body tightened, and he was ready to go up and have a fight. And many more. A short arm stood in front of him. Fu Haihui didn't know how powerful this guy was, but from the cursed spirit information he knew. The level of talking cursed spirit is generally not low. It might even be premium. This level is not something they can challenge. Procrastination. Why should we go back with you? At least give a reason. Toto Aoi understood his meaning in an instant, his eyes wandering around, wanting to help them escape in those places around. Kappa smiled when he saw them. Because there are people around you who have taken things they shouldn't have. Base. Kappa kicked his legs, the ground instantly cracked, and his figure disappeared in place. It doesn't want to waste time. If you don't arrest people and go back, it may not see the sun the next day. After the kappa disappeared, Toto Aoi only felt the hairs on his body stand upright. Run away. That guy is coming at me. Advertisement. As soon as the brain reacted, the body acted subconsciously. Evaded this attack, but the kappa's offensive continued unabated and continued to jump and chase after landing. Fortunately, Todo Aoi has been trained by Fuhasher and has strong physical support. It can be avoided for a few rounds temporarily. Fu Haihui was extremely anxious, and at this moment he had nothing to do. There is also not a short distance from the House of Everything. I can only try it. With both hands up and head high, the shadow was stretched infinitely at this moment. 10 shadow spells Jade Dog. The black curse power emerged from Fu Haihui's body and instilled it into her hand. The dark shadow that was originally calm on the ground gradually began to change. Bang! The call failed. Jujutsu's failure made Fu Haihui stand still. Unable to accept such a blow for a while. Wei, don't give up. We will die. Todo Aoi avoided the Kappa's attacks one after another, and gradually became weak. Bruises gradually appeared on his body and a few scratches appeared on his face. Ah, die to me. In an instant, there was a flaw in the Kappa's attack. Todo Aoi fought so hard that he was about to punch the Kappa to death. Bang! With a muffled sound, that heavy fist was blocked by the tortoise shell. Immediately, Todo Aoi's face instantly lost blood, but the powerful heart told him. Can't call it out. Calling it out will distract your friends. Enduring the severe pain, beads of perspiration rolled down, but he was not afraid, staring at the Kappa with staring eyes. Puff! Kappa took advantage of the strength and returned to the river pond. Looking at the two people on the shore with a leisurely look. Wei, leave it to me. Go away, let the master hurry and save me. Todo Aoi now has pale face and blue lips, how dare Fu Haihui let him stay? Without a word, his hands rose again. 10 shadow spells Jade Dog. The dark curse power appeared again, surrounding his gesture. Wow, he has dark hair and a wolf-like body, with a rune on his head. Shijin Jade Dog. Chapter 315. Advertisement. Wei, you made it. When Todo Aoi knew Fu Haihui, he knew that he had awakened the most difficult technique in Zenin's family. 10 shadow spells. But he was too young to have a chance to use it, and I didn't expect it to be used today. The appearance of the Jade Dog may bring a ray of life to their current situation. Unexpectedly, he is still a child of a big family. Now it's clear. If you want to blame, you should blame your grown-up for the things that shouldn't be taken. Kappa survived for hundreds of years and knew everything about the Jujutsu world. But the prestige of the three major families is still like a thunderous ear. This little guy turned out to be a member of the Zenin family, and seemed to be a disciple cultivated by the family. Can't drag on any longer. Bang! The water splashed everywhere, and the figure of the Kappa disappeared from the sight of the two. Bo! The Jade Dog yelled towards the sky, and Todo Aoi and Fushiguro Megumi dodged in an instant. A big hole was smashed into the ground in an instant. Unexpectedly, this Shikigami has a good nose, so let's take your surgery first. Bang! Rumble! A black shadow fell from the sky, and the Kappa did not react, and was directly stepped onto the ground with one foot. The man was dressed in black, with a jealous smile on his face, as if 23 were descending from the heavens. A pair of fierce eyes stared directly at the feet. Just you. Still dare to do something to Lao Su's son. Todo Aoi and Fu Haihui looked at this figure like a god of war, and they couldn't help but feel admiration in their hearts. So handsome. Dad, why are you here, master? Although the two of them were excited, they couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed after seeing Fuhasher's face clearly. These pink glasses are really returning. Be sure not to buy pink glasses in the future. The two looked at each other and nodded. Whoosh. Fuhasher jumped out of the pit and stood beside the two children. You two performed well today. Have you been following us? Although Todo Aoi did not speak, the attitude conveyed in his eyes was the same as Fu Haihui. Advertisement. Contempt for his behavior. Fuhasher saw this situation and scratched his head with one hand. He hadn't planned to come over. But as a father, how can he not pay attention to his child when he is about to become independent? As a result, I saw their battle on the side. Although the battle was miserable, the results were gratifying. Todo Aoi fully absorbed the training results and turned it into a physical instinct. Fu Haihui also used 10 shadow spells today. This is an achievement that cannot be achieved in a house. Today is a special situation, but after seeing your performance, I won't come next time. After speaking, Fuhasher didn't explain much. Walked to the edge of the pit and picked up the cap out. At this moment, his eyes turned white, his limbs shrank, and the tortoise shell on his back had disappeared. Wake up. If you install it again, I'll just blow your head. As soon as these words came out, the Kappa who was still pretending to be dead, a Ji Ling, woke up instantly. Big guy, I don't want to die, please forgive me. Say, why did you attack them? Fuhasher smiled at this moment, and the killing intent on his body seemed to be true, gradually wrapping the Kappa inside. No. My goal is not them at all. We lost one thing, and the two of them have the breath of that thing. I just wanted to take them back, I didn't want to kill them at all. Really, if you don't believe me, ask them too. I always said to take them back. Kappa winks frantically at the two children, wanting them to plead for themselves. At this moment it has already begun to scold his mother in his heart. Going out to find something, Not to mention the core disciple of the big family, but also provoked a ruthless person. It's true that TM has poured blood mold for 8 lifetimes. What is it? Who are you doing for? Fuchsir is the same person as Ryuichi, and the best way to deal with trouble is to kill them all. Lest trouble keeps going. Kappa felt the strength on his neck and couldn't help swallowing. Those dead fish eyes seemed to have a look at this moment, constantly looking around. I said, that thing is Ryōmen Sukuna's finger. I'm helping Jutun boy. That's it, can you let me go? Address. I don't know. Wait, I really don't know. We have no specific location where we are, and we can only rely on the force of the curse every time we come out. When we arrive at the boundary of the cave mansion, the landmark will directly appear in our minds, just for fear that the location of the cave mansion will be exposed. The Kappa's voice is hurried, and his attitude is pitted. Advertisement. One of them is that this can delay time. Bring the enemy directly to the entrance of the cave, and let the Jutun boy directly eat it alive. So far, it has not seen a cursed spirit that is more powerful than Jutun boy. If you can lead this person over, maybe. Is that my body? Bang. Kappa's head fell heavily to the ground, and he didn't want to believe what happened together. Since I don't know the place, it's useless to keep you. At this moment, its body is like weathered masonry, and finally disappears invisible. If the distance is close, Shuer doesn't mind opening the hunting moment. But after looking for dry stone last time, I found it. It's troublesome to find something, so it's better to let the other party find it directly. Let's go, you performed well today, and I will take you to a good meal. Fuhesher took off his eyes and put them back flat in his pocket. Take the 2 children and walk towards the house of everything. Soon after, a dark blue energy slowly rose up where the Kappa died. Like a group of beautiful blue elves flying in the sky. Finally disappeared in the sky. How do you feel? Yushui and the old man are in the space, watching everything recorded by the blue energy. It's nothing, a little stronger human beings. Only this level shouldn't make them worry so much. This is not Zenin Ryuichi, it's one of his employees, that man did not appear here. Oh, it doesn't matter, I have a way to let him do it. Yushui had already been read by the old man at this time, although he was worried about his past behavior. But they didn't say anything, their cursed spirit was originally a collection of human negative emotions. Betrayal or something will not affect it at all. At this moment, Yushui made a seal with one hand, and the sarcoma on his body began to wriggle frantically. After a while, some light blue mucus appeared on the surface of the body. Trouble. Fine. With a flick of the old man's hand, the picture on the screen was transferred to the cave of Jutun boy. The blue liquid fell down and melted into Jutun boy's body at the moment it touched Jutun boy. It can't even dream of it, the cave house that it has worked so hard to make by itself. Will be easily found by these cursed spirits. Chapter 316. Advertisement. Back at the house of everything, Fuhesher told Ryuichi about the incident. So he took his 2 children out to eat. Ryuichi didn't even think about it, so he called Gojo Satoru directly. They were looking for this trouble, so naturally they couldn't let him fight it. After putting down the phone, there was a trace of interest in the narrow and bright eyes. Now that Jutun boy has appeared, will the slick ghost be there too? There are many legends of hibiscus. But as soon as I heard Jutun boy, I would think that it was a general of Hyaki. The slippery ghost is the king of 100 ghosts. In the legend, they are all powerful and ruthless characters. I don't know if they have become an imaginary cursed spirit and have any power in the story. Tap the index finger lightly, and an 8-headed 8-tailed big snake appeared on the desktop. Although still mighty and domineering ugly, it was shrunk to this, placed on the table, it looked cute. So ugly and cute. At the same time, Gojo Satoru is doing missions with Sha Yuji. It is more practical to say that it is doing tasks than it is to say that it is hanging out. The cursed spirit time has been reduced recently, and jujutsu teachers can also have their own relaxing time. Woo, what's the matter? Why are you frowning after answering the phone? Sha Yuji swallowed the black ball in his hand and wiped the saliva from the corner of his mouth. Feeling uncomfortable again appeared in his eyes. No matter how long you eat, this taste is still unacceptable. It's okay, the finger you gave me last time seems to be some cursed spirit's baby. Now I have found Ryuichi, and I'll settle the account. Gojo Satoru looked at the sky, staring at the flying birds in the sky with those bright eyes. Boom! Snapped a 3rd-level cursed spirit flying over into the wall. If it wasn't a task, he didn't even care about this cursed spirit. This kind of thing, even if it can harm humans. How much damage can it cause? Sha Yuji was taken aback when he heard the words, and even ignored the dying cursed spirit. I'm sorry, Wu, it makes it difficult for you. Gojo Satoru showed his eyes hidden behind the sunglasses and looked at Sha Yuji in front of him. Found that his strength has improved a lot recently. I am also happy for him in my heart. It's just a trivial matter. I'll just go to the house of everything to help them repel it. Speaking of which, I am still their listed employee. Advertisement. I don't know if I will get paid when I go to work this time. Sha Yuji smiled when he heard the words. He had long been used to Gojo Satoru's detached thinking. Maybe you will be paid. Gojo Satoru stroked his smooth chin with his right hand, as if he was thinking about this question seriously. At that time, I will find a reason not to go, because he is invincible anyway. Sha Yuji heard the words, his slightly narrowed eyes grew in an instant, and then he fell silent. Is it invincible? I really want it too. Time flies. 2 months have passed since the last Kappa incident occurred. The weather is getting warmer, but the wind is whizzing, and the warmth of the sun does not have much effect. Fuhesher sat in front of Ryuichi, looking at the phone. His brows were furrowed, his expression was serious, and his fingers touched the table from time to time. What's wrong? For the first time, Ryuichi saw Fuhesher frowning because of something other than the child. Look at this news, Fuzang is not at peace recently. Ryuichi took the phone and saw a public message inside. It seems to be asking all jujutsu teachers for help. Help. Location Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi, a black cloud suddenly appeared in the sky, full of strong curse power. Wherever the black cloud goes, the cursed spirit below all disappears, even the second-level cursed spirit that is in battle. After being enveloped by the black cloud, it will instantly disappear in place. We reported this incident to the Jujutsu Association. It has now been found that the black cloud is moving towards Tokyo and will reach the border within 2 months. I hope that jujutsu teachers from all over the world can come to help and investigate the truth about Heian together. For the world, for us. Whoosh. The phone was thrown back. What? Do you want to maintain world peace? Ryuichi squinted, and there was a hint of mockery in those narrow eyes. Fushiel shrugged his shoulders as if he didn't hear the mockery in Ryuichi's mouth. I just think this black cloud is coming at us. Although I don't know what is in that dark cloud, the purpose is too obvious. Coupled with the Kappa some time ago, this incident is most likely caused by the Jutun boy. Hyaki Yako. Thinking of this, Fuhesher began to tremble constantly, his eyes fixed on his hands. Bloodthirsty radiated from him again. I just haven't been fighting happily for a long time. I didn't expect to encounter such a good thing. If you really come to us, just wait. When the time comes, you will definitely have a good time. Advertisement. Ryuichi waved his hand. Although there is a high probability that they will come to them, this does not mean that they will help those jujutsu teachers. Everyone has to pay the price for his choice. Isn't it? Jujutsu College, high-level meeting. Diaresis, you have all seen the news. Think about whether there is a way to snipe that cloud out of Tokyo. Those people don't want to see casualties here anymore. Zishui Hideki is asking everyone's opinions. As a communicator with the government, it is necessary for him to report the situation in the jujutsu community in real time. This incident is obviously not smaller than any one. It's even comparable to the previous, Hyaki Yexing. If they are not handled properly, they, jujutsu teachers, will not be able to gain a foothold in society. After all, I have dealt with cursed spirit for so many years. No one can give an exact answer to how bad people are. No one was talking around. He has long been accustomed to this situation. Looking up to the other side, this is the object of his reliance. Gojo Satoru, what can you do? Gojo Satoru sat in the chair, the sunglasses on his face already in his pocket. There was a little thought in those blue eyes. This time the movement was so loud that there were so many cursed spirits involved. It's simply not something that can be compared to Li Jiao. It almost encompasses the cursed spirit of the whole country. If this gathers in Tokyo, what a disaster will it be? I can't help it now. I will go over and take a look at it tomorrow to observe the state of the dark cloud. But everyone should also protect themselves around Tokyo. After all, its course of action is just a guess. In case it stops halfway, our protection is meaningless. The faces of the people around were ugly, and I didn't expect so many things happened during this time. And one thing is bigger than one thing. And these things seem to have happened after Gojo Satoru and Zenin Ryuichi showed their heads. Thinking of this, they couldn't help but focus their realization on Gojo Satoru. These two guys are not the reincarnations of the gods who made mistakes and took precepts, right? Although Gojo Satoru doesn't have mind-reading skills, he can see the slightest maliciousnus in their eyes. But he didn't care about it. You guys are busy first, I'll go find Zenin Ryuichi. Chapter 317. Advertisement. Zishui Shushu left the meeting room. Looking at the clear sky, the flock of birds flying freely. I don't know if there will be a chance to see this kind of scenery in 2 months. Immediately, there was firmness in the muddy eyes. He is going to find Tianyuan. Try to expand the scope of the enchantment, and ask a few jujutsu enchantments by the way. Not long after, Zishui Shushu came to Tianyuan's residence again. There is no nonsense this time, just explain it directly. This incident is not small, but I can't expand the enchantment range. In that case, the people here will probably know the existence of cursed spirit, and you don't want to see this kind of result. Bang bang bang. There are 3 more scrolls on the table. It is a defensive enchantment, which is wider than the scope of Thetent, but it has no function of preventing the line of sight. And more than own window, is needed to take charge. Take it back and arrange it. I don't want to see the scene of being utterly corrupted. Zishui Shushu looked at the scroll on the table, her eyes straightened and her body trembling uncontrollably. Thank you, Master Tianyuan. I'll go back and make arrangements. Hehe, Master Tianyuan, how long hasn't heard the name? These words made Zishui Shushu, who was about to open the door, take a while, but didn't stay much longer. Push the door directly to leave. All things house, Ryuichi office. Gojo Satoru pushed the door and went in, grabbing a bottle of drink and snapped it open. Ah, it's still comfortable with you. It's really boring to have a meeting with those people. I don't see how boring you are. Haha, really indifferent guy. After Gojo Satoru laughed, he immediately turned his body straight. You should have heard the news, right? If you're talking about the dark cloud, then I've heard of it. Why? Are you going to be the savior? Ryuichi's narrow eyes narrowed and looked at Gojo Satoru weirdly. Guru. He drank the rest of the drink in one breath and squashed the can. This time there is too much noise. As a student of Jujutsu College, I should go to investigate. Gojo Satoru said nothing wrong. He neither advertised himself as a Jujutsu teacher nor the three big families. Because these 2 points are telling Ryuichi subconsciously that you should go too. Just say that I am a Jujutsu high school, so there is no problem. Its ultimate goal is here, isn't it? Ryuichi went back to help Gojo Satoru without any accident. He had already felt that Gojo Satoru's mind was changing. It seems to be heading towards maturity. However, this does not mean that he will not kill. He also knew about the tragedy at the subway station. That's just speculation, and there is no substantive evidence. I went there to investigate its strength. Advertisement. After all, apart from you, no one is better than me for this job. Gojo Satoru took off his sunglasses, revealing the blue eyes of the sky. All Jujutsu's operations can't escape the observation of these eyes. It is most suitable for him to investigate. Ryuichi is noncommittal. He will not stay with him just because of Gojo Satoru's words. The atmosphere became awkward for a while. Yep. Unexpectedly, a mouse dared to show up in my office. A trace of scarlet flashed through Ryuichi's long, narrow eyes. Snapped. A palm is slapped to the table, and the force passes through the table directly to the ground, as if they are connected together. There were no scars on the table, but a big mouth was cracked in the ground. Gojo Satoru was seriously surprised when he saw Ryuichi's movements. This kind of control over one's own physical strength has disturbed the nuanced level. In the entire Jujutsu world, perhaps only the cripple can do this. Ugly, are so ugly. Ugly, you are ugly as dead. Suddenly a strange sound came out from the ground. It was very low, as if 7 or 8 people were locked in a sack and shouting at the same time. The listener is very irritable. Rumble. The cracks in the ground began to expand, and a giant cursed spirit more than 2 meters high and more than 3 meters wide appeared in the room. He was burly in shape with various patches on his body, which looked like he was patched up with worn-out sweaters. There is an unhealed incision on his stomach. I have spoken now, and pus is flowing to the ground. Zzz. The pus fell on the ground, dissolving the ground instantly. A big pit was exposed. Ugly. They are so ugly. Cursed spirit came out without attacking, but pointed at Ryuichi and Gojo Satoru and mocked. Ryuichi and Gojo Satoru looked at each other and were scolded by cursed spirit for the first time. This experience is really the first time in my life. Moreover, it is still an ugly cursed spirit. You come to me. Ryuichi gave him a look and let him take care of it. Gojo Satoru didn't talk nonsense and kicked it. Yep. The imaginary touch did not come. This kick was kicked empty. Seeing this, Ryuichi showed some interest in his eyes. Advertisement. Snapped. Open a bag of potato chips and watch the battle. Gojo Satoru took off his sunglasses, revealing the eyes of the sky hidden underneath. For a time, there seemed to be countless stars hidden in his eyes, so beautiful and moving. Cursed spirit had nowhere to hide under these eyes. There is something wrong with this cursed spirit. Ugly, all ugly. The cursed spirit didn't care about this, and the whole body rushed directly, like a meatball tank. Bang. Just when he was approaching Gojo Satoru, his path was blocked by an invisible wall of air. Feeling. Gojo Satoru's palm was attached to cursed spirit. He actually has a touch. Gojo Satoru whipped his leg and kicked again. His leg swept along cursed spirit's belly, as if there was only a projection in front of him. This is the first time I have seen this. Ryuichi, come on, my attack can't hit him. As early as when Gojo Satoru used Jujutsu with no lower limit to block the forward cursed spirit. He stood up, ready to observe this cursed spirit. Obviously it's only a second-level cursed spirit, how can there be such a weird ability? Cho. Too ugly. When cursed spirit saw Ryuichi's arrival, his swollen face was surprised. It is not easy to see such an expression on a face that seems to have been soaked in water for a month or two. Boom. The huge body rushed forward again. The whole room was shaking violently at this moment. Will some fine dust fall on the ceiling? Zzz. The wound on his body kept draining pus, dissolving all the stones on the ground one by one. The whole room was filled with the sour smell of rotting corpses. Ryuichi frowned. This guy was disgusting. The innate leads the weak in the sky, covers the change of the weak in the sky, and turns me into a king. Feng Hu Chi men get up. Tap your feet. The light blue light instantly filled the room. A mysterious gossip array slowly revolves above the ground. Click. Stopping turning, the cursed spirit stood still, motionless. Let me see what you are. Chapter 318. Advertisement. Cursed spirit stood still, stiff. He wanted to talk, but couldn't speak. Ryuichi walked in with those barely visible eyes. The pus on his body gathered in the wound and went out, and he terribly refused to fall. Ryuichi walked slowly to cursed spirit and looked at the ugly appearance. There was a light on his hand, and a pair of white gloves were added. At that time, I was bored and made a dust-free glove. The effect is that there will be no curse power left on these gloves. It was just a whim at the time, and I didn't expect it to be really used. Yep, this physical touch makes me feel nauseous. Haha, there was a faint mysterious air in the room, and it rushed towards Ryuichi like a moth fighting a fire. Gojo Satoru's blue eyes opened wide in an instant. He couldn't see through these powers. What did these faint breaths mean? Ryuichi felt the change in his eyes, and a faint mist began to fill in those eyes that were as bright as the moon. They seemed to be alive, and something began to be outlined in their eyes. Not long after, a beautiful gossip picture appeared in his eyes. The moon is white at the bottom, and the light blue is lined up, making people look at it at a glance, as if they can see all the states of life. Feng Hu Chi Men Guashong. The hexagram image is the group image in the 8 hexagram. It can represent everything between the heaven and the earth. From animals to plants, from mountains to valleys, everything is covered, nothing is missing. At this moment, Ryuichi brought all these changes into his eyes. He can see through everything in the world. Nothing can escape the detection of these eyes. The curse power surged crazily on Ryuichi, and the pale blue gossip picture began to turn in the white eyes of the moon. The white light of the moon bloomed from the eyes. Looking at the cursed spirit in front of him, the structure of its body and the circulation of Jujutsu appeared in front of Ryuichi in an instant. Is this what Gojo Satoru saw just now? At this moment, there was nothing in front of Ryuichi. But the touch on his hand reminded him that the cursed spirit had not disappeared. Not enough. With the sound of the sound, the mysterious air that had receded resurfaced again. Suddenly gathered in Ryuichi's eyes. The original light blue lines gradually became deeper. The rotation speed of the gossip array began to increase. The endless curse power was dispatched by Ryuichi into his eyes. The current situation has changed. What kind of power is this? Boom boom boom. Advertisement. A punch was blasted, and the huge force blew the freezer behind Cursed Spirit. But Cursed Spirit still has nothing to do. It turned out that the Cursed Spirit in front of him was wrapped in a layer of light blue energy. As long as he attacked, this light blue energy link would instantly wrap the Cursed Spirit. It's like disappearing in this period of time. It doesn't cause any harm at all. Interesting. There was a strong interest in Ryuichi's bright blue and white eyes. This power seems to be able to erase this time of its own existence to a certain extent. In addition to him at this time, there is actually something that can control time. It seems that I also found him. Interesting, so interesting. Gojo Satoru looked at Zenin Ryuichi, who was happy. The blue eyes revealed this endless shock. It's been a long time since he saw Ryuichi show such an expression. When was the last time? Is it a 10-year agreement? Or is it a prince contest? Or when we first met? I have forgotten it, and now this expression has appeared again. What kind of things make him so interested? Is there any major secret hidden in this cursed spirit? Sudden. He knows what Ryuichi's expression means. That's to find the expression of the same kind. When I saw him, this expression also appeared. Could it be that, through this cursed spirit, he found another of the same kind? The shocked expression on Gojo Satoru's face disappeared. Even the corners of his mouth lifted slightly, and there was excitement in his eyes. Boom. With a soft sound, the difficult cursed spirit disappeared instantly. It turned into flying dust and disappeared in the room. The light on the ground dissipated in an instant, and the whole room returned to silence. If it weren't for the big pit on the ground, and the broken freezer behind. As if nothing happened. It's okay. I'll leave if it's okay, bye. When the incident subsided, he didn't wait too much. He was afraid that Ryuichi would demand compensation from him. Ryuichi ignored him at the moment, and the moon-white eyes looked at the sky, as if they had penetrated time and saw the source of his interest. Tap the table in an orderly manner without holding your finger. Advertisement. Seeking flowers. Fun, fun. ... Unexpectedly, Zenin Ryuichi is still a bit capable, and he can wipe out my curse power directly. Interesting, interesting, no wonder I can't see his past. Looking at the picture in front of him, the old man showed a curious expression on his face. For so many years, apart from the king, I really haven't seen Jujutsu's existence that can unlock it. This is one of the reasons why it can survive so long. Now that I saw one, it was not shocked. It's a deep curiosity, maybe this person has an opportunity to make it further. Hoo. The surrounding space seemed to feel the old man's mentality, like the firstborn universe. After the endless darkness, a fierce light burst out. ... 0. All this is like the birth of the universe, with planets appearing one after another, surrounding them. As if they were the gods of this world. Whoosh whoosh. Rumble. In an instant, all the stars seemed to be passing by, quickly revolving around them. Not long after, those planets seemed to have passed through thousands of years, and finally they could not support it. Bang. Turned into a pool of dust, scattered in this universe. Then there was endless darkness. This story keeps appearing, repeating itself. Yushui stared at the surrounding scenery blankly, and the sarcoma on his body began to wriggle frantically. Some dark blue liquid was produced and flowed into my mind along the tube. The color on his body started to deepen again. But Yushui was prepared for this. The look did not change, those liquids were drained out of the body by it along the skin. Packed up with an empty test tube. Looking at the happily old man in front of him. A smile appeared on its face, as if he was happy for the old man. The dark blue liquid flowed slowly in the test tube, reflecting Yushui's eager and greedy look. At the same time, above the black cloud that frightened the major jujutsu teachers, Jutun Boy sat slantingly on the high platform in the center of the clouds, with his half-person wine gourd beside him. Surrounded by cursed spirit in nearby cities. No matter what looks beautiful or ugly, no matter how big or small they are, no matter how strong they are, they have only one identity at this moment. That is, the 100 Ghosts of Jutun Boy. Earth. Chapter 319. Advertisement. My lord, we have now arrived in Okayama, and it won't be long before we reach Kyoto. Now that cursed spirit has almost collected, shall we? A first-level cursed spirit with a little intelligence, respectfully reporting to the figure on the throne. If they advance so unscrupulously, they are bound to be sniped by the jujutsu divisions. Although not afraid, it is a troublesome thing after all. At this time, if the king can teleport here directly to the boundary of Tokyo, it will save them a lot of trouble, and they can be caught off guard. Guru. Hiccups. Jutun Boy didn't seem to hear, he picked up the gourd on one side and drank. The wine in the gourd seems to be ruthless and endless, no matter when it is served, it will always start to flow from the mouth of the bottle. When the gourd was put down, a flush appeared on Jutun Boy's face. His eyes opened angrily, and he drank sharply. Don't talk nonsense. Just walk slowly like this. Hiccup. Disappeared for so long, the jujutsu teachers almost forgot about Lao Su. Even my things, Hiccup, dare to take it. Dare to kill Lao Su's people. This time, Hiccup, I have to let them have a long memory. Although it was a harsh drink, there was no momentum on his body. Jutun Boy's ear was pressed against the gourd, and he shook it back and forth twice. Gudong. I'm almost out of alcohol. The sound fell, and the gourd in his hand began to shake slightly. Not long. The glamorous pattern on the base of the gourd gradually distorted. All the colors come together to gradually outline a colorful mouth. Fuchsia lips, snow-white teeth, and this pure purple tongue. It looks like an oil painting of hibiscus. Click. The rubbing of the teeth gradually rose, and the originally colored ball began to bulge out. Sizzle. Wine. A deep bubble sound suddenly sounded, and the voice was full of greed, making people shudder when listening, as if it would not be swallowed in the next second. Whoosh. The wine gourd rose into the sky, suspended in the center of the black cloud. Hiss. A huge suction gushes out, and all the weak cursed spirits around take off. It was eventually swallowed into a wine bottle. Belch. The gourd seemed to be full, and returned to the hands of Jutun Boy. The terrible big mouth disappeared, and the original monster color changed into a pattern again, covering the surface of the gourd. Advertisement. Hoo. This time it shook, and there was no such swaying sound inside. After opening it, take a sip of it. Now the position is vacant. Keep this speed, keep going. The scene just now shocked the cursed spirits around him. They don't have much saneness, they can only do things by instinct. But after being recruited by the Jutun Boy, he will understand some simple instructions. The mind gradually began to unfold. The terrible situation in front of them almost took their few sages away from their bodies in an instant. It turns out that the drinks inside come like this. Single quote. The first-class cursed spirit's face turned pale, his body tightened, and when he looked closely, he was trembling slightly. It is the closest to the king, and everything just now has a panoramic view. That weird gourd has become a nightmare in its heart. But all this cannot be shown yet. It is afraid that in the next second, it will become the king's cup of wine. Oh. Just like that, a week passed. This black cloud almost passed through half of the hibiscus. Wherever he went, all cursed spirits below the special grade disappeared. The area of the black cloud gradually expanded, and there was a sense of oppression of the black cloud over the city. Although ordinary people can't see such a scene. But the oppressive feeling that the rain is coming and the wind is all over the building is suppressed on the chest of every passerby. I feel so depressed now, I always feel something is going to happen. I thought I was the only one who felt this way. I had a phone call with my home yesterday to confirm that they were okay, and I was relieved. So are you guys. I went to the hospital for a checkup, but nothing happened. Let me pay more attention to rest. This feeling reminds me of the previous natural disasters, but this time it is more serious. Quote. Just when passers-by were discussing recent psychological problems. A young phantom with dark glasses, silver white hair and black school uniform appeared beside them. Is it this dark cloud? Gojo Satoru hooked his sunglasses, revealing eyes that seemed to be filled with stars. Looking at the dark clouds in the sky with a happy expression. In the blue eyes, the image of black clouds was reflected. Tyranny, blood, lust, all kinds of negative emotions shuttle among the clouds. Just looking at it like this, you can feel the powerful spell above it. It's really a powerful curse. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru pushed his sunglasses up and looked around. Base. Shit. The whole figure appeared in midair instantly. This place shouldn't be scolded by Teacher Yaga, right? I don't know how long it can last with such a strong curse. Lie on his back with a goodwill smile on his face. Looking at the dark clouds not far away, fingers forward. The emptiness of the curse was along his body, converging in the middle of his fingers. Hey! Along with the sound, a strong shock wave was sent out instantly. The surrounding space began to turbulent at this moment, and even slight cracks appeared. After a short while, he rushed to the bottom of the black cloud. Seeing that the two were about to come into contact. But in the next moment, the black cloud was completely blurred for that moment. It was this moment that made it escape the impact of her. It's interesting, but it's still a bit close to that cursed spirit. The state of the black cloud has been reflected in his eyes, and it just simply disappeared. Similar to teleporting in place to avoid damage. Then see how you hide with this trick. The whole person lay flat in the air weirdly, without the slightest tendency to fall. The index finger of his right hand stretched out, and a black energy ball was condensed on it. Positive infinity and negative infinity converge on it. This black energy ball is gradually becoming nothingness. Condensed. Ready to launch. What's going on? What happened? Why am I here? Who can tell me? What is that? How can a large black cloud cover the sky of the city? Is it really the end of time? Am I going to die? I don't want to die. Who are you? Can you save me? Countless pale blue shadows floated out of the city. It seems to have a foreboding what will happen in a while. Crying in the air. Some figures couldn't even withstand such a blow, they collapsed and disappeared between heaven and earth. Gojo Satoru was taken aback when he heard these voices. The nothingness condensed at the fingertips gradually disappeared. Looking at the floating soul, his brows gradually frowned. This guy is actually using the human soul to replenish energy. Chapter 320. Advertisement. The sky is still gloomy. But in the eyes of Gojo Satoru, there are countless human souls piled up in this sky. Hiss. That black cloud is more like an ancient giant beast, greedily sucking these souls into his body. So as to continue to maintain the original speed of advancement. This guy, it's very difficult. Now this situation is a bit beyond his expectation. If you attack again, this city may instantly turn into a dead city. This is contrary to his idea. Cut. Wait for you to stop, then come to you to settle the account. Base. Gojo Satoru's voice appeared on the street. The ground is full of slumped bodies. These people are out of help. There was a trace of anger in those blue eyes. Putting on his sunglasses and putting his hands in his pockets, he was about to leave here and return to Tokyo. Report the situation here to the college. At the same time, waiting for its arrival at the border of Tokyo. I hope there will be no deviation in your route. At the same time, a certain cave entrance in Fuzang. 2 third-level cursed spirits stood squatting at the entrance of the cave. Waiting for his king to return triumphantly. Gululu. Sattering. But at the 23rd moment, they saw an old man coming slowly. The 2 cursed spirits don't know if he can see them, but the necessary threat is to do it. In case you meet a great guy, you might have a chance to reflect in advance. But the old man didn't care, so he didn't hear anything. When he came closer, he found that he was wearing a black haori with a self-defense sword sticking around his waist, which looked quite majestic. Only then did he discover that the top of his head was bald, not even a single hair, like an old monk in a temple, and his outfit looked like a wealthy businessman, and he walked leisurely like a rich man. These 2 contradictory temperaments were unified in him. I'll see how you are here. The old man would not pay attention to the alert cursed spirit, but he said hello and went straight into the cave. Seeing that although there is no momentum, his figure has penetrated deeply into the souls of the 2 cursed spirits at this moment. It was a kind of suppression from the soul, as if he was born a king, and they could only bow their heads and kneel on the ground waiting for his arrangement. When the old man disappeared at the entrance of the cave, the 2 cursed spirits reacted. The 2 cursed spirits looked at each other, although they were full of fear for the old man. But still hurriedly ran inside. An old guy bypassed both of them and entered the cave. If this matter is let the king know. The scene when the big wine gourd swallowed the spirit can't help appearing in my heart. Just thinking about it this way, they are about to be destroyed. Advertisement. Revert back to the previous state of being awkward. Ouch. There are so many collectibles. Good things, good things. The figure of the old man appeared in front. At this moment, he is standing in the collection room where Shui Nu used to be. Look at the popsicles inside. There was a gleam of light in the tiny eyes. With a big wave of his hand, a cloud of misty blue air was revealed from the ice sculpture. They seemed to feel the cats and dogs called by the owner. After appearing, it accumulates in the palm of the old man. A short time later, an air mass the size of a basketball appeared. It is blue through the body and looks like a flawless piece of jade. The old man observed the promise carefully and found that in this air mass, there was a little blue and gray air lingering in it. There was a sense of disappointment in his eyes. The quality is not so good. However, it will do just a moment. After that, he took out a cigarette gun from his waist and stuffed all the light ball in. Then, as if thinking of something, his right hand began to search on his body. Where's the fire? Did you forget to bring it? It's getting old, it's easy to forget. The old man grinned, and although it was a sigh, there was no disappointment on his face. Guru. Goo. Sashisa. Saw. The voices of the two cursed spirits came from far and near. Haha. I almost forgot you guys, thank you for coming to send the fire. The old man laughed. Base. Shit. The figure disappeared in place. Somehow the two cursed spirits stood still on the spot for a moment. The nervous expression before was gone. It's like a puppet, quietly waiting for its owner to appear. Zzz. Not long after, the two cursed spirit bodies began to melt. The melted liquid did not flow turbulently, but gathered together and gradually turned into a candle. Tear. The figure of the old man appeared, and a trace of flame appeared in his hand. Push the palm forward to ignite the candle. The originally yellowish flame gradually became dark as the candle burned. If you listen carefully, you can still hear the faint howling. After a while, it burned halfway. Hiss. Huh. The light blue light group gradually becomes smaller as time goes by. The old man didn't care if there was any gravel below, lying on the ground comfortably. Advertisement. Feel the heat brought by the burning of the light ball into the body. It turns into a pure soul power, flowing to the limbs and corpses. Comfortable. It's been a long time since I smoked it so comfortable. It's better to use cursed spirit as the fuel. It's a comfort to smoke. It's just that the quality of these souls is not good, otherwise you can experience the fusion of ice and fire. See if there are any good things elsewhere. After a long while, the old man lay down in the position of the Jutun boy. With Wei Mi in his eyes, a weird smile appeared on his face from time to time. Candles burned peacefully around. Skull inside the cave, human skin, all disappeared. Instead, there are various mysterious spells. The entire cave has been completely renewed. Can't see any previous traces. The old man seemed to be satisfied with this style and nodded calmly. Jutun boy, your taste is still so bad, I will help you redress. Before you come back, give me this place, give me this place. However, I guess you may not be able to come back. The old man's voice faded, followed by snoring. Rumble. At this moment, the mouth of the cave began to shake. Subsequently, the entire Biandong mansion disappeared. 3 days later, Jujutsu High School. An extremely angry roar came from outside the classroom. Gojo Satoru. UB*******D. Do you know how big the goods you have made? Later, the figure of Yaga Masamiki appeared in the classroom. Whoosh. A dark figure rushed towards Gojo Satoru. With the previous experience, Gojo Satoru is not ready to pick it up by hand. Boom. A large recessed hole appeared on the wall on the side of the classroom. Curse Mukuro has been lying quietly in it. Sha Yuji. Yaga Masamiki. Tai. Although avoiding the attack of the curse, Yaga Masamiki's iron fist was late. Ms. Yaga, did I do anything wrong this time? Gojo Satoru said helplessly, clutching his head. Yaga Masamiki looked at the way Gojo Satoru looked. Although he was angry, he couldn't do anything about it. Let you go to the place of Heian to investigate. 1/10 of the local people died. Dare you say that this matter has nothing to do with you? Sha Yuji heard this and looked at Gojo Satoru in surprise. Enlightenment, what happened? It's nothing, I just launched. On Heian once. Chapter 321. Advertisement. Yaga Masamiki and Sha Yuji looked at Gojo Satoru in amazement. What the hell is thinking in this guy's head? Boom. You guy, let you investigate, who let you destroy it? It's an investigation. Investigate its strength by the way. It looks like it's pretty powerful now. Have you ever thought about those ordinary people? This time, because of your misjudgment, do you know how many people died? It is because of Gojo Satoru's decision that thousands of lives disappear instantly. This is more casualties than those cursed spirits who appeared in the field of birth in the past have caused more casualties. There is no way to conceal this matter, nor can it be concealed. Do you have anything else to say? Yaga Masamiki looked into Gojo Satoru's eyes. Although he was angry, he still wanted to hear his explanation. Gojo Satoru's expression remained unchanged, but the smile at the corner of his mouth disappeared. Because I considered the consequences, I guessed it. If I really don't care about the consequences, it's not just a few thousand lives that disappear. What I want to do is heaven and earth, who can stop it? The voice is calm, but his body reveals infinite confidence. Yaga Masamiki and Sha Yuji were instantly overwhelmed by this confidence. It seems to see Gojo Satoru break free from the shackles of morality, as if a dragon enters the sea, everything between heaven and earth poses no threat to him. At this moment, a person's name appeared in their minds. A name that has crushed an era. A name that can suppress the Jujutsu world for thousands of years. Ryōmen Sukuna. Right, it is Ryōmen Sukuna. Gojo Satoru, who has no worries, is definitely the next Ryōmen Sukuna. If you really push Gojo Satoru to that point, who can stop him from killing? Do you rely on that man? Impossible. Zenin Ryuichi did not follow to destroy the Jujutsu world, he would already burn a lot of incense. Want him to stop Gojo Satoru, it's just a dream. Yaga Masamiki and Sha Yuji looked at each other, and both saw the worry in each other's eyes. Enlightenment, Teacher Yae didn't mean that. I know, but I have my own way of doing things. The pension for this incident is half of my Gojo family. I'm leaving first, and think of a way to give this black cloud a gift. Gojo Satoru helped his glasses and left Jujutsu College. Advertisement. Affirmative words are the final word, and no refutation is allowed. Only the helpless Yaga Masamiki and the thoughtful Sha Yuji are left. Teacher Yae, I'm leaving now. Yaga Masamiki didn't want to say anything at this moment, waved his hand and let Sha Yuji leave by himself. Sha Yuji was walking on the way home, looking at the clear sky. In the world, no one dares to stop it. When Sha Yuji heard this, his first reaction was not worry, but envy. He envied Gojo Satoru's confidence and strength. If he were to rule the Jujutsu world, it would be interesting. I heard that most of the cursed spirit of Fuzang gathered in that cloud, I really want to see it. The cursed spirit he controlled was almost exhausted before resuscitating Yu Zhao. This incident is dangerous for others, and it is indeed an opportunity for him. You only need to wait quietly to get countless resources. Moment. Sha Yuji's stomach surged, subconsciously holding her hands. Obviously, just recall the taste of cursed spirit. It was enough to make him vomit. Sure enough, I still can't accept it. There was a trace of firmness in Sha Yuji's long and narrow eyes. However, all of this is not a problem at all when compared with the improvement of strength. Now, he almost forgot what he explained to Jujutsu teacher. It seems that only by quickly improving strength can you achieve your ideal state. Time flies, and the Jujutsu community has spent a month in this repressive atmosphere. Gojo Satoru caused casualties to ordinary people due to improper investigation, and hereby compensates the official 300 million yuan as compensation for this mistake. This incident was also hung up on the Jujutsu teacher exchange network. Let everyone take a warning. All things house, Ryuichi office. Boss, look, the blind man lost 300 million yuan because he moved his hand. Fuhesher didn't let go of the opportunity to make fun of Gojo Satoru. He saw the news posted on Jujutsu's website and immediately took it back and shared it with his boss. 300 million, he has been supplying medicaments recently. It will take more than a year for these 300 million to be earned. It was sent out immediately. Think about it, I'm so happy. Ryuichi glanced, and he also read the news on it recently. After all, Gojo Satoru was still soft-hearted. Since there have been casualties, he simply let go of his hands and feet. Now that the hands and feet are bound, he will definitely become his weakness in the future. Advertisement. Are there any trends in that many black clouds recently? Fuhesher put down the phone, and the smile on his face gradually disappeared. He has been paying attention to the movement of that dark cloud recently. Even investigating through various channels. But never got a valid answer. Diaresis, there is no accurate information yet. The first batch of Jujutsu teachers who went to investigate the news, without exception, all died. Among these investigators, only one brought the intelligence back. It's the blind man. Although he doesn't want to admit it, he is much better than the rubbish. The initiative to provoke the black cloud, but was not injured. It is also ridiculous, a Jujutsu teacher who successfully brought back the information. It was not praised, but it was criticized internally, which was announced on the whole network. Ryuichi looked at the phone, and there was a smile in his moon-like eyes. Even if a dragon is heavily chained, it wants to protect humans in its own way. But this group of people wanted to drive the dragon away because of the heavy rain. As everyone knows, once the dragon enters the sea, the wind is surging and the waves are raging to the sky. Who can stop these people? Rely on those old, weak and sick. Ridiculous. Boom boom boom. Squeak. The door to the room opened. What caught your eye, Wang Li's, was the white lab coat. Yaya Okawa looked at Fu Hei. Yaya Okawa came in with a bunch of documents. Are there any good things to share today? Although Fuhesher had deep opinions on Yaya Oga. But his stuff is still very welcome. Yaya Okawa pushed his glasses and handed the information to Ryuichi. Recently, Gojo Satoru asked me to help me do something to stop the dark cloud from advancing. Ryuichi looked at the data in front of him, basically the analysis data of Heian. At the end of the information, the words above attracted his attention. How are you sure about this? Fuhesher stepped forward and took a closer look. The results of the analysis of the black cloud were written impressively on it. Open field. Yes, it should be a super cursed spirit field. By giving up the closedness of the field, the scope of the field can be increased. This is the open field. Chapter 322. Advertisement. Fuhesher heard Yaya Okawa's explanation. The eyebrows are drooping, and the eyeballs turn left and right. I don't know what I'm thinking. Then do you have any way to stop it from moving forward? Regarding the formation of dark clouds, Ryuichi has an answer in mind. However, Yaya Okawa can be found out through intelligence analysis. I don't know much about the realm, but I also know that expanding the realm is a very consumptive thing. As long as the power of the spell is exhausted, it will stop or even disappear. But judging from the news brought back by Gojo Satoru, this dark cloud obviously has its own way of replenishing the spell's power. For the time being, I can only wait for it to stop by itself. Yaya Okawa has no details, according to the information in his hand. I said everything I knew. Carefully glanced at the two big men. I should be pretty detailed, right? There shouldn't be anything unclear, right? Can I go now? Yaya River is under great pressure. Especially when Bohesher was there. That kind of unpleasant memory always floats in my heart, and I can't forget it for a long time. If it's okay, you can go. Yaya Oga nodded uncontrollably. Without taking anything, he turned his head and left the room. Fuhesher grinned and said, "Boss, see how you scared him. How do you know that he is not afraid of you?" The smile on Shear's face froze. It should be, can't it? The two of us are partners, how can you be afraid of me? Ryuichi doesn't want to waste time on this kind of problem. It is basically certain that the owner of Heian is the king of ghosts Jutun boy. Fuhesher grinned. Unexpectedly, the Jutun boy in Kappa's mouth came to the door so quickly. There is even such a big battle. Don't be grateful to them, it goes against their hospitality. Then, a short blade appeared in his hand. The fingers moved slightly, and the whole knife was like a beautiful elf all the time, rolling back and forth between his fingers. So uncomfortable. Snapped. The tip of the knife is inserted into the table. Fuhesher looked at the blade, with a bloodthirsty smile on his face. The knife hasn't moved for a long time, it's time to sharpen it. Advertisement. Boss, let's wait here, or wait at the city boundary. This event is serious and the official has imposed mandatory requirements on Jujutsu Division. The black cloud must not be allowed to reach the boundary of Tokyo. At that time, all Jujutsu divisions must guard the border. Prevent black clouds from reaching an inch of land. When Ryuichi heard the words, there was a hint of sarcasm in those moon-white eyes. Wait here. The ant actually wants to stop the mouse from advancing. What if there are more of them? Haha, what I said is, just wait here. If we can really be stopped by those guys, we don't deserve to let us wait for him. Fuhesher laughed, and it's been a long time since he fought. I want to do it myself when I meet an enemy. Because he has no interest in killing the weak. Except for tasks. There are still 15 days before the dark clouds reach Tokyo. The black clouds at this moment have passed through Kyoto. Arrived in Nagoya. There is almost no cursed spirit in these cities. Jujutsu teachers do not know whether to cry or laugh about this situation. It feels like someone did your homework for you, but in the end the name was changed. It's so speechless. This time the enemy is unprecedentedly strong. Do you think we can survive this time? I don't know. If I survive, I will marry Hori Norika when I go back. FK away. I can't say anything good. Isn't it because you are dying in curse? Yes, it's really bad for TM. It's not so good. Just set up a foul for yourself. Gojo Satoru stood with Sha Yuji, looking at the sky in the distance. Enlightenment, how about it? Have you found a way to control it? Gojo Satoru licked the cone in his hand, and his yellow cyan eyes looked at him through sunglasses. No, this thing was babbled by the gods and gods of Yaya Okawa. I will remember one sentence when I finally came out, there is no way for the time being. Speaking of this, Gojo Satoru has a bitter face. Unfortunately, he thought this scientific researcher had some ability. I specifically asked him about the black cloud, and wanted to see if there was any way to destroy the black cloud directly. But all the answers were, no, no idea, no test. He was so angry that he wanted to smash the experiment. I thought he was a king, but he was actually a bronze. That's probably what it meant. Since I can't find a way, just hit it down. This time Mrs. Yaga has nothing to say. Advertisement. Sha Yuji smiled when he heard this. The city surrounding Tokyo has basically been evacuated in the past month. Even if you let go of your hands and feet to do it, it will not cause casualties. In the end, as long as it was caused by an earthquake, no one would doubt it. I don't know how many times I have done this kind of thing. Sha Yuji looked at the birds in the sky. I couldn't help but think of Yaga's words in my mind. The officials have already moved all the residents there. Go and tell Gojo Satoru that if the thing still comes to the territory, then he doesn't have to go back to Jujutsu College. There was a trace of yearning in his eyes. When can I become such a person? ... Somewhere in the space. 2 shadow viewers on the screen in midair. Yushui, how much do you think Ju-Tun boy can let him use this time? Yushui didn't answer immediately, but he held his chin with his right hand. The sarcoma on the body began at this moment, with regular activities. This question is not easy to answer. About 60% will be used. Oh, I think it's too much, up to 40%. Stupid learning without words. What I think in my mind is less than 10%. After all, it started with getting to know Zenin Ryuichi. Except playing against Gojo Satoru, at other times, all the opponents were wiped out in a tortuous manner. Let it say that it is always 10% higher than the opponent. But this cannot be said. The old man didn't talk when he saw Yushui, and he didn't ask. After all, this is just a faint flavoring agent for both of them. However, this guy, Ju-Tun, this time has a lot of noise, and he can be considered worthy of its title. I just don't know if my strength has improved, or if my strength has begun to decline because of hiding for too long. The old man seemed to have seen his favorite role appear on TV, thinking about it. Both of them were opponents at the beginning. Thousands of years have passed, and the strength of the two is no longer the same. The old man is almost at the top of Jujutsu, just a chance. With this opportunity, he can directly become the rule. Just what this opportunity is, it is still unknown. But it saw this hope in Ryuichi. Just take advantage of this opportunity. Look at what Zenin Ryuichi does. Chapter 323. Advertisement. A terrifying curse hovered above the black cloud. The black cursed spirit stood neatly on top of the black cloud, like a group of soldiers preparing to be tested. Even those alien cursed spirits constricted their bodies at this moment. So that I can integrate into this team. From a distance, it looks so solemn. Above the dark clouds, in the center of the team, there is a sitting platform. On it stood 4 human-shaped cursed spirits. They are swollen or skinny, some have eyes all over, and some are like branches. But without exception, their bodies contain powerful forces capable of destroying a city. Just standing there, the cursed spirit below shivered and dared not move. But at this time, they are bowed behind the throne. Give in to that man. This time is a bit slow, how long will it take? A majestic voice sounded, and people couldn't help but want to kneel to it. As if he was a born monarch, everything in the world is just its subjects. Reporter, at the current rate, it will take another 7 days. The 4 cursed spirits trembled when they heard the words. One of them, cursed spirit, stepped forward and reported on the current itinerary. The previous cursed spirit, who was responsible for reporting the itinerary level, has long since disappeared. Maybe it has already become the wine in the gourd. The gourd beside the throne suddenly flew. In the horrified eyes of all the cursed spirits, they fell on the throne. Guru guru. Hiccups. The sound of swallowing sounded, and a faint scent of wine floated around again. The king is drinking. After the low-level cursed spirit smelled this, his legs trembled and cold sweat broke out. The more wine the king drank, the closer they were to death. No one can guarantee that he can survive the next time. And those 4 cursed spirits, not only weren't afraid, but also had an intoxicated look on their faces. Hissing. One of them, cursed spirit's face, was even more obsessed. Even more, he opened all 5 big mouths on his body. Greedy licks the fragrance in the air of the eater. Let the ugly appearance become even more terrifying. The main line of bloody air finally exhaled from it, and the scared cursed spirit dispersed in all directions, leaving a void behind him. It looked like it was in a pot of ink, and a drop was tapped in to wash it clean. In this horrible atmosphere, it is so funny. After a while, the aroma dissipates. Advertisement. Disappointed expressions appeared on the faces of the 4 cursed spirits. Don't worry, hiccup, this thing is over, there are you guys to drink. Thank you, king. The faces of these cursed spirits showed excitement. Flowing in the gourd is the purest original liquid of curse power. It seems to contain all the negative emotions, and it seems to contain nothing. Put it in the gourd for a while, it will produce a mellow aroma. For the super cursed spirit, this thing is second only to the original essence of the soul. Bang, bang, bang. The lower part cursed spirit can't stand this kind of stimulation. It shatters directly, transforms into flying dust, and disappears in the wind. Hissing. Haha. Don't waste, don't waste. The disgusting sound of licking sounded again. His face was so bloated that he couldn't see his neck, and his eyes were squinting everywhere. Seeing the expressions of contempt by the other 3 cursed spirits, my heart was full of disdain. Several of them exist in competition with each other. The cooperation is only temporary, and maybe they will fight each other when they meet each other in the future. At this time, you need to do everything possible to improve your own strength. Increase the weight in the heart of the king. Major, according to the latest cursed spirit report, all those jujutsu divisions have gathered around Tokyo recently. Want to prevent us from entering the city, are we? An icy voice came from one side. It sounded like a steel knife, rubbing your eardrums all the time, and it sounded very uncomfortable. It seems that in the next moment, the eardrum will be ruthlessly penetrated. The three cursed spirits turned their heads and looked. The cursed spirit looked like a branch that was about to wither. It felt like they sneezed and the figure would be blown down. What do you mean? Do you want the king to escape? That is, that group of humans is nothing but you, and we can be wiped out without the king's action. Cursed spirit without a neck looked at them arguing and laughed. As if all this has nothing to do with me. Go on, I would like to see what means the group of humans used to stop my footsteps. The throne's voice was like a warhammer. Once it sounded, there was no more noise. None of the four cursed spirits dared to speak out. Guru Guru. The wine poured into his stomach, and the Jutun boy sat on the throne. The scene of the death of the Kappa is always playing in my head. Seeking flowers. For this method, it had doubts in its heart. However, this does not affect his actions. Advertisement. It has been silent for thousands of years, and the world will almost forget it. He even concocted another so-called 100 Ghost Commander. How can this convince it? It happened to take this opportunity to prove to mankind again. There is only one true king of ghosts. That's me, Jutun boy. Although I don't know who you are, if you dare to calculate me, then you have to bear the consequences. I hope you won't be afraid then. In the blink of an eye, the black cloud floated to the border of Tokyo. At this time, the Jujutsu divisions below were waiting. This battle is likely to be the last time in their lives. 0. Ha ha ha. Lao Su waited so long, finally TMD came. Hurry down, let Lao Su do a good job. Ooh, I just became a jujutsu teacher and I participated in this battle. I was too hard. I feel a tremendous pressure on my chest, so uncomfortable. Is there a therapist to help solve it? Haha, I want to be beautiful, and I will give you treatment. Those who can turn the warlock are all treasures. How can it be wasted on you? Black clouds approached slowly above the sky, and the people below laughed and cursed under great pressure. They may cry, laugh, fear, or excite. But no one backed away. They can be said to be the last barrier of the entire Jujutsu world. If they retreat, the hibiscus is really over. There were a lot of cursed spirits before, but they had no scale, and there was no chance of causing any major casualties. But this time, there was a powerful cursed spirit that brought together all the cursed spirits in the cities along the road. This is a very huge combat power. Slightly careless. The city behind will be swallowed by the cursed spirit like waves. Sha Yuji looked at the black cloud, and a strong sense of oppression rushed towards him. But my heart is full of surprises. After today, he may go further. Sudden, Sha Yuji's eyes widened, and the expression on his face instantly solidified. Prior to this, he controlled several low-level cursed spirits to monitor in the front part of the city. I want to check the situation in advance. Just now. The cursed spirit he controlled disappeared. Earth. Chapter 324. Advertisement. Hoo. A breeze blew by. A strand of hair floated to his face, blocking Sha Yuji's gloomy face. His eyes were low and he bit the corner of his mouth lightly. Zenin Ryuichi can control cursed spirit, I also recognize it. Why is there another one who can snatch the control of cursed spirit? Is my jujutsu so worthless? Even though I am reluctant in all sorts of ways, but at this moment, I can only accept the case. But in this battle, he cannot use jujutsu. He is afraid that the summoned cursed spirit will be controlled by the opponent and will attack his teammates. He couldn't accept it anyway. Base. Shit. A figure instantly disappeared among the people. Appeared in midair. That silver-white hair was carved into everyone's eyes. Haha, I was evaded by you last time, this time you don't have this chance. Gojo Satoru stretched his hands 5 or 6 fingers forward, and the curse power on his body surged crazily. Zzz. Not long. A small black ball appeared on the tip of the finger. Positive infinity and negative infinity overlap each other on it. The surrounding space began to crack at this moment. The tremendous pressure radiated from him. The jujutsu teachers behind them saw this scene, and their hearts surged to the sky. This guy is Gojo Satoru. So amazing. It's Gojo Satoru. I have seen his photos on the internet. Real people seem to be more handsome. What does he want to do? Wouldn't he be ready to attack directly? Wait, we are not ready yet. They knew about Gojo Satoru's decision to sacrifice thousands of lives. So when they saw the action of Gojo Satoru, they were not surprised, but shocked. Gojo Satoru didn't hear their shouts, and even if they did, they would just ignore them. The energy of horror is condensed in the hands. Gojo Satoru looked at the black cloud in front of him, and a wanton smile appeared on his face again. Haha, good luck, water chestnut. A black ball wrapped in terrifying power and was pointed out by Gojo Satoru. Wherever he went, the space collapsed. In the blink of an eye, he rushed to the bottom of the black cloud. The imaginary Big Bang did not appear. The entire black cloud disappeared instantly. Advertisement. Let the black ball lose its target. Look at it. They are in the city. With a call. The streets of the city are full of strange cursed spirits. They walked unscrupulously on the street. It seems that they are the masters of the street. Friends, come on. For our home. Go. Jujutsu teachers, regardless of status, regardless of value. At this moment, they are all fighting for their homeland. Except for one family. Anbei Heron, shall we go? Anbei Heron has a beard on his face at the moment, completely devoid of the feminine feeling he had before. A trace of hesitation flashed in those narrow eyes. Wait and see. If we go up now, we won't be of any help to the battle situation, and it will even be a disservice. This is a matter of life and death in the Jujutsu world of Fuso. The Anbei Heron was still released, although it did not meet the requirements of the old man. But the strength has improved a lot. The same is about the ability to manipulate the class. The Anbei family also discovered the weirdness of Heian at the first time. This caused them to be unable to summon Shikigami to fight together. This kind of thing is not a big blow to the Onmyoji. Although it is possible to use spells, the chanting time is too long, and close combat is to die. Order the people below, we are here to protect them. Let them fight with confidence. Yes, although the people of Anbei look down on the group of Jujutsu teachers below, they are in this situation now. We must do our utmost to minimize casualties. This is the best plan they can make at this stage. Hiss. Boom boom boom. Ah, I'm dying. Who will? Huh, I can run so fast. Don't run. Come and save me. I'm hurt. Ah, hey, am I still alive? I can't do it. Me. Huh, why is there another guardian spell here? Suddenly, on the battlefield, voices of surprise and suspicion came one after another. Although there is no time to pay attention to what happened to me. But what you know is that they are very safe now. Kill. I have nothing to fear. FK. FK it. Never before has it been so refreshing. Ha 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 ha. I didn't expect to have an assistant so cool. Advertisement. Everyone got it like chicken blood, and quickly cleared the miscellaneous soldiers in front of them. Boom. Bang. The huge explosion lifted all the cursed spirit around. Gojo Satoru clapped his palms, as if he had done a trivial thing, and said to the others with a smile. You continue to clean up, I will go to the next place. Everyone looked at the big pit on the scene and at the figure who had left. Not only a word came to mind. Don't be enemies with Gojo Satoru in this life. Don't be stunned. After processing here, follow Gojo Satoru to clean up other places. A voice awakened everyone, instantly entered the killing time again. Gojo Satoru flashed down the street and came to another corner of the city. The cursed spirit here is overwhelming. Even on the TV tower, there are a lot of cursed spirits lying prone. Blind, I never thought I could meet you here. Fuheshir's beating voice sounded from one side. Cripple, if you don't lie down in the hospital, why would you show up here? That's not because I am afraid that you, a blind man, will be hit by a car and come here to see you. As soon as the two met, the invisible murderous aura filled the whole street. The surrounding cursed spirit felt this momentum and instinctively ran to one side. For fear of being implicated by these two evil stars. It happens that there are so many cursed spirits here, should we compete? There was a smile in Gojo Satoru's blue eyes. He is professional in killing cursed spirit, especially his jujutsu can attack in range. As far as the game is concerned, he has a big advantage. Fuheshir Nature's way has its own shortcomings. Although the physical body is strong, it is good for large-scale cursed spirit cleaning. The strength of the physical body is not so prominent. But he will definitely not refuse. Yes, but I have to add a condition. There are 4 special grade cursed spirits above that black cloud. If you kill one, you can offset 1,000 cursed spirits, how about? When Gojo Satoru heard the words, his eyes were taken aback. How did this guy know how many special cursed spirits are in the dark cloud? Seems to see Gojo Satoru's doubts. The corners of Fuheshir's mouth cracked, and there was a trace of pride in those arrogant eyes. Don't think about how I knew it, you just have to say that you agree or disagree. Whoosh whoosh. A short knife appeared in his hand. With the prying of the fingers, the knife looked like a butterfly flying all the time. In the sunlight, the rays of light are refracted. Chapter 325. Advertisement. It's fair, isn't it? Gojo Satoru will naturally not reject this proposal. The two have different goals, but the results are the same. To play a game in this way, naturally there is nothing to say. However, you should hurry up to find your target, because... Rumble. Bang. A piece of white light carries the meaning of destruction, turning everything in contact into ruins. Fighting in this kind of city without people, for Gojo Satoru. Simply more comfortable than Kai Wushwang. My attack, conservatively estimated, is also 400 upwards. And... Gojo Satoru raised his other hand again. The curse power on his body converged in his hand. The pressure as if the demon god destroying the world came out again. The energy like the sun gushes again. Ready to rush in the other direction. Gojo Satoru has confirmed that there is no Jujutsu division in these two directions, so you can attack with confidence. In other locations, you need to find it slowly. Hey! White light flashed again. Wherever he went, High-rise buildings were like candles in the wind in front of this force. Scratched out instantly. Fuhesher's figure also disappeared at this time 23 in the same place. Continue to wait here, I don't know if the game won or not. But those opponents may be gone. Did the guy Zenin Ryuichi tell him? Even if Fuhesher didn't say anything, Gojo Satoru could guess the source of his innocence. After all, it's not too hard to guess. After a period of silence, Gojo Satoru put his sunglasses back into his pocket. That unscrupulous smile appeared on his face again. Let's have fun. Boom boom boom. Fuhesher on the other side felt the explosion behind him. The speed at the foot once again increased by 1 point. The whole person is like a ghost, walking through the city streets. Those cursed spirits passing by were also taken away by a knife the moment they saw him. Although it was not his intention, his actions also saved many jujutsu teachers who were in desperate situation. Although he didn't see him clearly, he gave the unsung hero a thumbs up in his heart. At the same time, hey, don't run. Are you trying to kill me? Why run when you see me? A wretched voice came from a certain street. Looking closely, a reminder of a huge, very bloated cursed spirit was taunting a female jujutsu teacher. The female jujutsu teacher wears the school uniform of Jujutsu High School. Her blue and white hair is codified into 2 braids, covering the front face and the back of the head respectively. Advertisement. Mei looked at the cursed spirit in front of him with a gloomy expression. It can be felt from the curse power that this guy will not be lower than 1 level. Find a way to escape. The instinct of the body has been urging her to leave here quickly. But actual conditions do not allow it. This is the place she chose quietly. The view is limited, suitable for concealment and easy to escape. She was attacked by this guy when she was using the Black Crow maneuver. All his escape routes were blocked instantly. Now I can only hope that the fellow Gojo Satoru can run over to save himself. Other people come here purely to give away their heads. Do not know why. At this time, a white figure emerged from her alarm clock. Just thinking about it, she felt an infinite sense of security. If that guy is here, surely nothing will happen to him. It is this inexplicable self-confidence. Go away. Her jujutsu is just a very ordinary category, almost incompetent. It is only used to detect the enemy's situation, in this case of being caught. Her jujutsu looked so pale and feeble. Hey, don't be afraid. I'll be fast. It won't make you feel pain. Hiss. The huge eyes on the cursed spirit's face were staring at Mei's figure. The 5 big mouths sucked back the saliva from time to time. The dark curse power gradually emerged on his body, and the seemingly innocent maliciousness gradually surged towards Mei. With a malicious curse, like 2 tentacles, they followed the ground and rushed towards the front frantically. In an instant, he came to Mei. Base. A nice backflip. Avoided the black air that came in. Quack quack. Quack. The eyes under the braid turned crazily, and the crows in the air hovered around. She wants to fight a way out for herself. However, the crisis was not resolved there. After removing those 2, countless tentacles appeared, flying out from all directions. Killed Mei fiercely. The pure malice of the carrier on the tentacles, like a poisonous snake, rushed out insidiously from various positions. Mei's face changed drastically. She can't dodge this kind of attack. Is it just going to die like this? The Marquis could not help but float in his mind. Advertisement. Looking back on my life, it seems that apart from making money and practicing, there are no other memories. Fortunately, she has a fascinating desire for money, so she does not regret it at this moment. It turns out that I can die without regret. Base. Wow. A figure swept over with a white light. Those tentacles broke instantly. Fuhesher was carrying a long knife, and the short blade struck his other hand. Looking contemptuously at the cursed spirit in front of him. It's easy to find and hit you. After speaking, put his eyes back into his pockets and prepare for the next battle. Who are you? How dare you come to snatch my food? You damn it. You really damn it. It's mine. It's all mine. The terrifying curse power accompanied the roar of anger, enveloping the sky instantly. This area was instantly filled with countless desires. Covered by greed and lust. Domains. Fuhesher has been following Yaya Dahe's knowledge in the field recently. After all, he was bound by the sky and basically had no relationship with the realm in this life. In order not to be in a hurry to face the field in the future. The best way is to learn in advance. The feeling now is a bit like the domain expansion learned. But, it doesn't seem to be special. Isn't it right? Mei looked at this scene in shock. The same place, the same safe back, different people. It seems that the goddess of luck is still on his side. Be careful, this guy is a special class. Fuhesher heard the voice behind him, and his fierce eyes showed unrestrained expression. The body was tensed, the front of the long knife stand was up, the broken blade stroking his chest down, and he made a salary posture. It's not a special grade, I won't kill yet. Base. The figure disappeared instantly. The next second appeared in front of cursed spirit. There was a ruthlessness in the narrow eyes, the corners of the mouth opened, and he shouted, "Let me see what you cursed spirits do." The long knife slashed down, the sharp blade pierced the air, and there was a faint sound of the sword. Boom. There was a loud noise. A huge shield generated by cursive power appeared in front of him, enclosing the entire body of cursed spirit. The long knife was blocked out like this. Do you think this is over? Chapter 326. Advertisement. Some tower in the city, with a figure standing on it. Leaning over and looking at the fighting crowd below, a trace of disdain appeared on Yaoyi's face. It is your blessing to be able to follow me all the way. Your role will end here, and you don't need your participation below. Whoosh. One jump. A huge gourd appeared under it instantly. Flew towards Tokyo. Not long after, it was less than 5 kilometers away from the House of Everything. Suddenly, a coercion appeared. The sitting gourd almost became unstable and threw Jutun Boy down. Haha. Did you notice that I'm coming? Since it's here, don't panic, come out and show your face. Jutun Boy felt the pressure, but there was no fear in his eyes. Instead, it was a bit more tyrannical. The anger accumulated for so long must find a place to vent. Suddenly, the sky darkened. The blood moon took off. Silver. Go. A black giant ball instantly wrapped it inside. A white figure stood under the blood moon. There was a trace of different evil intentions, and it looked so dusty. Haha, boy, the appearance is quite impressive. My uncle will give you a chance to hand over Ryōmen Sukuna's fingers, and make me happy again, I will let you go. Jutun Boy looked at this figure, and a familiar feeling came to his mind. Hiss. The sound of squirming came into its ears. Looking intently, this space has been covered by lumps of hair for some reason. Only it floats in the air. Looking from a distance, it looked like it was being pressed in the center by a pair of hands. Whoosh whoosh. The overwhelming hair appeared from all directions, moving towards Jutun Boy's body. Ha ha ha. Useless. Useless. This is the only way to open the domain, then you are too rubbish. Gourd. Breathe fire. At the tail of the gourd sitting down, the colors of the monsters merged again. That terrifying big mouth was formed in an instant. Huh. Huh. A burst of fire instantly spit out from that big mouth. Burn all the hair that is about to approach. But the hair seemed endless, rushing toward the flames eagerly. For a while, the flame that was ejected was faintly suppressed back. Cut. What an annoying field, Jutun Boy whispered, and then held the fire-breathing gourd in his hands. There are words in the mouth. Advertisement. Afterwards, the flames from the gourd wrapped it up. It looked like he was wearing a flame armor. With the output of the curse, the temperature of the flame gradually increased. Once hair appears around it, it will burn instantly. It's not even a pastime. Whoosh. The whole body turned into a ball of fire and flew towards that figure. Just for fun. What about this? Boom. A huge phantom appeared under the blood moon. 16 terrifying eyes stared at this fast-approaching fireball. Just this one face, Jutun Boy was pressed to the ground by this strong pressure. Wah! What the hell? Jutun Boy felt the pressure on his body and tried hard to lift his head up. Want to see the situation above clearly. 8-8. Eichi Orochi. When he saw this figure clearly, the whole person was stunned. The same as the imaginary cursed spirit. The Yachi Orochi is definitely the top existence. Although it is the king of 100 ghosts, it is as immature as a baby in front of Yaki Orochi. Impossible. How can the Yaki Orochi serve humanity? I have been searching for such an existence all my life, it is impossible to be in the hands of a human. It's all fake. Fake. Isn't the Jutun Boy struggling to find Ryōmen Sukuna's fingers to increase the combat power of the imaginary cursed spirit group? If it had the help of Yaki Orochi, how could it still be what it is today? It doesn't want to believe that the things it has worked so hard to find are just obtained by a human being. And it still exists like a master and servant. It seems you are unwilling. Ryuichi looked at the Jutun Boy who was lying on the floor playfully. Infinite anger accompanied by terrifying curse power, formed a black mask around him. There is a faint feeling of success in resistance. This kind of courage can also be regarded as the title of the King of Ghosts. When Ryuichi feels Shutendo, those cursed spirits who were imprisoned had a faint feeling of wanting to get out of the cage. You know, even Sha Yuji's cursed spirit manipulations will not cause any obstacle to his Zhu Ling Chang. But this one in the underground just felt the momentum. It made his cursed spirit throb. This made him interested. Now he was still under the coercion of Yaki Orochi, and slowly stood up. Sure enough, he has the domineering spirit of a ghost king. Congratulations, you are qualified to be my subordinate. Boom. The body of Jutun Boy who just stood up. The sudden increase in pressure was pressed to the ground again. Advertisement. What kind of ability to hold this uncle like this? Heads up. Ah, I want to kill you. Step to step. The sound of footsteps sounded, from far to near. Gradually came to his side. A faint voice floated into its ears. Diaresis only the weak will bark when they fail. This sentence seemed to hit Jutun Boy's acupuncture point, and the body that was originally struggling also softened. It seems that he has accepted the fact that he has failed. This is a bit of a strong person. Zhu Ling, Dispatch General. A hole suddenly cracked in the ground. So. Numerous chains stretched out from inside, enclosing Jutun Boy. Immediately, the rune on the chain suddenly lit up. Click, click. The iron cable was buckled, and all the iron chains turned into pure curse power. Printed into its body, Ryuichi waved his hand, and the figure of Shutendo on the ground disappeared. Not long after, Ryuichi returned to the office. Nothing seems to happen. Lying against the office chair, many fragments flashed across those bright moon-like eyes. From birth to millennia, from fighting with people to fighting with cursed spirit. It's really boring. Unexpectedly, his life is quite pure. Since it is an imaginary cursed spirit, his abilities are almost the same as the legendary Jutun Li Wanghao boy. That is to dominate the 100 ghosts. To a certain extent, this ability belongs to the advanced version of cursed spirit manipulation. Of course, just in terms of ability, there is no real superior jujutsu. Suddenly, a faint blue light appeared in the sky. There seemed to be something wanting to come out, but it disappeared immediately. In just such a moment, the breath was captured by Ryuichi's terrifying perception. Looking at the direction in which the breath disappeared, a faint smile appeared on his face. After all, he also knew the ins and outs of the whole thing from the memory of Jutun boy. When things were done, Ryuichi lay on the office chair. The breeze slipped in through the window and gently brushed against Ryuichi's handsome face. It seemed to remind him that spring had arrived. At the same time grave. Skinny stick, don't look at it, it's just talking about you. Vohesher has solved 3 special cursed spirits. The 4th one has also been found. Human, do you know who you are talking to? Chapter 327. Advertisement. Fuheshir smiled disdainfully and put his eyes back. The best way to deal with this kind of super cursed spirit is to don't look at it, just do it. The strong physical instinct is enough to make him face most of the special cursed spirits. Boom. A powerful shock wave hit. Smoke and dust filled the building, and the building in front of it instantly turned into rubble. Fuhesher looked at the scene in front of him, his eyes gloomy, his teeth clenched. With this attack method, you can tell at a glance who wrote it. Sorry, lame. A relaxed voice appeared in his ear. Gojo Satoru pushed his sunglasses and appeared in front of him. Huh, Mei Senpai is here too. It seems that you are getting along well. As he said, there was an expression that everyone knew on his face. Mei didn't say a word, rolled her eyes, she knew her junior well. The speech is not serious, although the person is good, but very unreliable. Thinking of this, an upright figure appeared in his mind. I don't know why, since I saw Zenin Ryuichi's domineering figure. That figure appeared in her mind from time to time. It's so dangerous that it's suffocating. Blind man, didn't I say that this was my goal? Gojo Satoru looked intently and found that Fuhesher was looking serious, holding knives in both hands. The invisible murderous aura vented on him wantonly. Even Mei, who was behind him, was trembling with the murderous intent. It was as if a bloodthirsty beast appeared in front of him. The surrounding cursed spirit fled here as early as when the two met. Don't be so nervous, have you forgotten that we are a game? Since it is a competition, there is no problem of robbing monsters. You can also rob me. As he said, he raised his right hand, and the terrifying curse power instantly condensed. A cloud of white light shot from his hand. Boom. A piece of ruins appeared in front of them again. Fuhesher looked at this scene and rolled his eyes. As soon as he loosened his hands, the 2 knives disappeared in the air. Now that the special grades have all been wiped out, then it would be meaningless for him to stay here. That's fine, even if you win. Just won it. Didn't even have any rewards. Base. A shining white thing slipped from the air. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru held it in his hand subconsciously. $1 coin. Cut. It's stingy, just like the boss of Piso. Put the coin in the pocket. Looking at Mei's shocked expression. Senior sister, do you want to fight together? Although Gojo Satoru's expression is very sincere. But in Mei's eyes, it was a naked ridicule. No, I can go by myself. Now that the special class on the battlefield is over, there will be no more guys who can catch me. Without looking back, Mei shook her body and left towards the alley behind her. Gojo Satoru didn't care about Mei's attitude at all, and moved forward towards the next goal. After all, he is still a student of Jujutsu College. With this task in the body, you can't like to do things in full screen like the House of Everything. Oh, it's another relaxing day. After a long time, the city finally returned to peace. Everyone stood on this wasteland, staring at their hands dully. Feel your heartbeat. Are we still alive? We are victorious. The silent joy spread to every jujutsu teacher present. Tension, depression, pain, and excitement all erupted at this moment. An enthusiastic cheer broke out in the city instantly. Yeah, we are victorious. We are still alive. Awesome. Going back this time, I will definitely be admitted to the 4th grade Jujutsu Master. Haha, having participated in this war, I can brag with my children in the future. Ha ha ha, ooh, I'm still alive. I'm really alive. Even at this point, some people still looked at the surroundings with an incredible expression. Unexpectedly, I fought in such a place all afternoon. But some people looked at the bodies of their companions and couldn't help but squat aside. Feeling the joy of other people, quietly wiping my tears. They don't want to disturb their mood at this moment. Ryuichi sat on top of a pile of building ruins, and the flames behind him hid his figure in the sky. Gojo Satoru's figure appeared beside him instantly. Sitting next to him, looking at the cheering people below. He seemed to be infected by them, and smiled uncontrollably. Yu, are you happy? The light of the flame reflected Ryuichi's figure. Make his front look so gloomy. The next moment, Ryuichi raised his face. Advertisement. The light shone on his face. The expression is as gentle as always. The Jujutsu division made a concerted effort to defeat the cursed spirit core. This incident is destined to be recorded in the history of the Jujutsu world. As one of the participants in this incident, I am very happy. Only, Ryuichi pointed to the ruins under his feet and the smoke in the distance. As if thinking of something interesting, he said to Gojo Satoru, "You said, Mr. Yaga, what would you say when you see the situation here?" Gojo Satoru looked up at the huge tent in the sky. Who knows, he can't see it now anyway. Having said that, he could already imagine Yaga Masamiki's frustrated look in his mind. Although this war was won. But it can only be said to be a tragic victory. If it weren't for Gojo Satoru's skill to wash the ground and Bohesher's fixed click to kill. The number of casualties in this battle will at least double. There are still too few special Jujutsu teachers. If you encounter this situation again, you won't necessarily be so lucky. Ryuichi said truthfully. If Gojo Satoru is constrained for unknown reasons next time, Zenin Ryuichi's House of Everything is unwilling to participate. Then they have nothing to fight back against this kind of battle. Including him. In this battle, Jujutsu was not used in the whole body art. Although the feeling disappeared midway, he couldn't bet. He is now considered to have discovered his own shortcomings. If Jujutsu is banned, his melee combat ability will only be at the first level. This does not meet his requirements for himself. Thinking of this, Ryuichi's eyes were firm. In the future, you need to improve your physical skills. The happy mood lasted for half an hour. Everyone began to tap the casualties. The battle fought from day to night. After 11 hours. All 4 special cursed spirits were eliminated. First and second cursed spirit escapes more with less death. The remaining low-level cursed spirit, at the moment it was put down. He ran frantically towards the edge of the city. He was bombarded and killed by an unknown AoE, so no statistics were made. The rest is the cost of restoration of the city. Just estimate it in your mind. Just got an amazing number. At least 200 billion. Chapter 328. Advertisement. Wow. The tent in the sky slowly fell. The people at the window looked at the current state of the city, and they got goosebumps instantly. Is this the result of their battle? Don't look at it. Take the time to go in and search for Jujutsu masters who need help. If we stay here for an extra second, we might die a Jujutsu master. We want to help the most people with the fastest speed. Have you got the potions for everyone? Take it. Set off. Whoosh. The man in black took the life detector in his hand, like a wild cat wandering outside looking for food, and began to walk through the abandoned streets. Every time you pass through a ruin, you must carefully search inside. For fear of missing someone. In the end, they met in the center of the city. There has long been no glory here. Construction waste is piled up on the huge square. There was a pungent paste smell all around. In this evil environment. A group of people lay on the ground, either intact or injured by hanging ribbons. But at the moment, he was lying on the ground and slumbering. The world seems to be silent for them at this moment, guarding their sleep. Captain, just as a man in black was about to say something, he was interrupted by the heat in the front. They are too tired, let them rest. We just need to do a good job of protection here. You guys, go and explore again, don't let any place that is easy to be overlooked. Yes, Tatata. The footsteps of a few people moved away. The captain looked at the man lying on the ground with a grateful smile on his face. Tonight, we will guard it. The next day, noon. Jujutsu High School classroom. Yaga Masamiki looks at Gojo Satoru and Ryuichi in the classroom. Although Ryuichi had some bruises on her body and the color on her face, there were no big scars. On Gojo Satoru's side, there is nothing, even a hippie smile on his face. An unnamed fire rushed to his head in an instant. It's you again. The city is seriously damaged. I know you did it at first sight. Do you know how much money it will cost to restore to the past? Advertisement. Even if so much money is allowed to go to your Gojo family, it will be a pain. Didn't you think about it? Gojo Satoru looked at Mr. Yaga and knew that he was not really angry. Ms. Yaga, don't be angry, this is not to kill more cursed spirits. At least starting today, the cursed spirit disaster in Fuzang will hit a record low this year. What Gojo Satoru said is not without reason. The number of cursed spirits this time almost covers the entire Fuzang. At least before the next batch of cursed spirit is born, Fuzang's cursed spirit will be as low as unimaginable. When Yaga Masamiki heard these words, the expression on his face eased slightly. But seeing Gojo Satoru's unrepentant face made me feel inexplicably upset. This time, you helped the battle to prevent the cursed spirit from invading Tokyo. The credit is very great. Master Tianyuan intends to record this incident in the historical text of the Jujutsu world. If a book is published in the future, your names may be mentioned. When Sha Yuji heard this, his expression was stunned. Although he thought about this possibility, he never thought that Tianyuan would do it himself. Not everyone can afford this kind of treatment. Gojo Satoru looked indifferent, even if there was no such incident. His name will definitely appear on it. Because he is the six-eyed successor of this generation. This event was completed very well, so the top management has always decided that each person who is alive will give out 10 recovery reagents. The deceased Jujutsu teacher will each give out a pension of 10 million yuan. As for the construction of the city this time, you don't have to worry. The officials have already pushed this matter to the natural disaster, and they will pay to restore the city. Oh, high-level decision. Why don't I know? Hear that the matter is over. Gojo Satoru leaned back in his chair comfortably and asked casually, did they decide to exclude me again this time? Whoosh. Snapped. A piece of chalk appeared on the wall instantly. Yaga Masamiki still maintains a chalk posture. You give it to me as soon as you see it. B****************** D. After the matter is over, they will hold a meeting, and no one will answer if they call you. Finally drag me to the meeting. Do you have any questions about this decision? Oh, that's okay. I'm very satisfied with the decision, then I'll leave if it's okay. Although in doubt, Gojo Satoru has picked up his jacket and is about to go out. Roll. Sha Yu, if it's okay, you can leave. I'll call you if I have something to do. Seeking flowers. Sha Yuji nodded, without any expression on his face. Obviously, he has become accustomed to this way of communication. Goodbye, Teacher Yaga. Advertisement. Half an hour later, Gojo Satoru's figure appeared at the door of the House of Everything. Hello, Nanami Kento. The boss is in the office, and sometimes you can go directly to him. Nanami, your attitude is so bad, if you continue like this, you won't find a girlfriend. Gojo Satoru looked at Nanami Kento expectantly. Hoped to hear his rebuttal. But, he was disappointed. Nanami Kento never looked at him from start to finish. The original happy expression became a lot depressed in an instant. It seems that the C**K has been defeated. Ryuichi. I'm coming. Standing in front of the office, sweeping away the previous loss. As if the person just now was not him. Without hearing the consent, he opened the door and entered. A breeze ran down the door, blowing his silver hair. A faint smell of sea floated in the air. At this moment, Gojo Satoru even felt like he was at the beach. Not there. No, Nanami said yes, then he will definitely not run. Why is there an extra mirror here? Gojo Satoru held the mirror in his hand. The elliptical surface, the silver frame, hold it in the hand, and a strong sense of history rushes to the face. Ryuichi. Gojo Satoru pointed the mirror at himself, and did not see his own image. Instead, I found Zenin Ryuichi wearing a swimsuit and basking in the sun. This mirror looks very ordinary, how did he get in? Boom boom boom. Gojo Satoru tapped the mirror, trying to call out Ryuichi in this way. Since this can't work, then. Gojo Satoru has a funny expression on his face, holding the mirror in his hand. Swing vigorously. Ryuichi. Ryuichi. Come out soon. 5 minutes later. Gojo Satoru gave up and sat in the boss chair. Feel the massage above. I completely forgot the purpose of this visit. You fellow, is it so casual to come to my office? P.S. I saw you want to enter the plot. Rest assured, the arrangements are made, thank you for your support. Earth. Chapter 329. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru lay on the office chair, ignoring Ryuichi on one side at all. Ryuichi's body shines brightly. A white suit with his slightly bronzed skin, looks so harmonious. Gojo, when are you going to rest? After changing clothes, I looked at Gojo Satoru's owing expression. I'm really afraid I can't help but go up and slap him. Ryuichi, this thing is good, can you make one for me? Gojo Satoru stretched, as if he had just woke up, squinting his eyes to recollect the massage. Looking for me. Gojo Satoru grinned. We won the battle yesterday. So, although their group of cursed spirits is quite powerful, it is obviously missing a leader. I heard from them that there is also a Jutun boy, I don't know if you have seen it. Although it is a question, Gojo Satoru's face clearly shows that Wooloo-san is coming to you. Well, I have collected it. Gojo Satoru had such an expression, leaning on the back of his chair, and said lightly. Thank you, if you let Teacher Yaga know that there is a special cursed spirit sneaking into the city, then I will be miserable today. Ryuichi looked at Gojo Satoru so easily, and narrowed his eyes. 5 million do you a favor, isn't it too much? By the way, since you accepted it, you should know why they came this time. Such a big movement, is it just for a finger? Gojo Satoru sat up and didn't answer his words at all. Instead, he looked at Zenin Ryuichi with a puzzled look. He knew that Ryuichi's Juling Chin could read the thoughts in cursed spirit's mind. Bang! Gojo Satoru was thrown aside. Ryuichi leaned against her chair, a trace of interest flashed in her narrow eyes. That guy is just a poor bug bewitched by another cursed spirit, blinded. Gojo Satoru didn't believe it. In this war, there were only 4 special cursed spirits. There is one more jujutsu teacher than jujutsu shows in the jujutsu world. If it weren't for the strength of a few of them, they were too much. This time, it is very likely that all jujutsu teachers will be wiped out. This can be said to be a catastrophe for mankind. Without the protection of Master Jujutsu, ordinary humans are as vulnerable as ants. Will become the food in the mouth of cursed spirit at any time. Being bewitched. Why are you a little familiar? That guy is dead. Gojo Satoru shrugged. After all, when it comes to deceit, such words can't help but think there. However, judging from the current situation, the ultimate goal of their operation is still you. Advertisement. It's better to be careful. When Ryuichi heard Gojo Satoru's words, a look of expectation appeared in his narrow eyes. Is it for me? The corners of his mouth lifted slightly, and the smiling face familiar to Gojo Satoru appeared again. Sure enough, caring is superfluous. I should be worried about the guy who was aimed at you. By the way, what's the matter with your mirror? Gojo Satoru turned the mirror at himself. I found out that my own influence appeared inside. Didn't you just basking in the sun on the beach? Gojo Satoru danced and portrayed the scene he just saw. Just a word, I want to go in and take a look. Snapped. A crisp snap of his fingers. There were waves on the surface of the ancient mirror. If you want to, just go in and have a look. Gojo Satoru didn't doubt that he was there, so he poked in with his right hand. As a result, the whole body, like a noodle, was instantly sucked in by the mirror. After a short while, he came out again. Wow, this is too powerful, much more powerful than that domain called Kurong. On the surface, Kurong's domain looked like an ordinary forest. But in the seriousness of Gojo Satoru, under the forest, there is indeed a piece of white loess. There is no vitality at all. The flowers and trees on the surface are all created to extract the vitality in the field. He would only feel sick in that environment. There is no sense of relaxation. But this mirror world is different. Although it is different from the real world. But the victory lies in the sense of reality, without any pretense. In that short period of time, he almost explored the world in the mirror. Except for the borders, the rest of the world is almost the same as the real world. More importantly, inside, outsiders can't find it at all. This point is very important. Anyway, all the jujutsu teachers are on vacation, so they can take advantage of this opportunity to go in for a vacation. Ryuichi, you can make. No. 2 words directly blocked the words in his mouth. Wow, so angry. My chest hurts. Such a good place. Are you planning to hide it in private? Advertisement. Gojo Satoru looked at Ryuichi with an incredible face. On vacation, 20,000 a day. Make a deal. Gojo Satoru doesn't care about this kind of small money. Can I call more people? Random. The answer was affirmative. Gojo Satoru was not going to stay any longer. He was going to tell some of his friends about the news, and he was going to relax for a few days together. Oh, yes, I made a bet with the lame before. Although I won, afterwards I felt that it was wrong to do so. So, you help me return the things to him, so that he won't be so stingy next time. Base. A coin fell on the desk and began to circle on it. Ryuichi looked at the coin, his mouth cocked. The 2 guys here really have to fight wherever they go. Snapped. The next second, the coin was thrown into the wall above the freezer. Every time Bohesher came here, he would go to get a beer. He will definitely see this position. Ryuichi stretched, as if feeling something. The corner of his mouth lifted slightly, and a trace of contempt eased in the narrow and bright eyes. This kind of rat can only hide in the void, and is not worthy of being an enemy of him. Zenin Ryuichi is a great guy. Looking at the picture in front of him, the old man couldn't help but curl up. It is very certain, the last look in the picture is looking at him. Unexpectedly, this guy is so powerful. Can actually see through the turbulence of time. It seems that the evaluation of him before is still a bit too low. I said, this guy is amazing. Yushui saw the old man's surprise. When Ryuichi made his debut in the jujutsu world, it has this person's name in mind. This is not a special treatment for him. But every time a genius in the jujutsu world rises, he will keep it in his heart. In order to deal with the inquiries of those bosses in the future. It's just that other geniuses have an upper limit. And this Zenin Ryuichi, for now, I don't know where his limit is yet. Following this, a terrifying thought lingered in his mind, and he couldn't let go of it for a long time. This guy won't have some kind of heaven and bondage, right? Chapter 330. Advertisement. Yushui thought of this, lowering his eyebrows in contemplation. The explanation of heaven and bondage is very simple. But it is natural to lose one thing, but it will be compensated. Generally speaking, these 2 things will be related. But this is just a guess. Various assumptions began to echo in my mind. The sarcoma on his body wriggled frantically at this moment. The dark blue liquid flows down the tube into its brain. But, it's useless. Can't think of anything. Can't guess anything. No matter what you use to explain it, Zenin Ryuichi can't be so strong. Yu Shui's body gradually turned red, and his eyes gradually lost focus. Gradually entered the crazy stage. Ah, why? Why is it so strong? Bang! A blue curse burst out along his body. Like an ultrasound, it continuously diverges toward the surroundings. In a short while, the surrounding space will produce waves of waves along with the transmission of energy. If it is not stopped, this space will be directly destroyed by this energy. Idiot. With a certain special melody, the voice floated in this empty space. When you touch the scattered energy, you erase them all. The walls of the space that were still rippling. With the appearance of these two words, it became so calm. The two plain words sounded like a thunder in Yu Shui's ears. In an instant, he just felt tight in his chest. Puff. A mouthful of blue liquid spurted out of the body instantly. The red on his body slowly receded. Thank you. Yu Shui wiped the liquid from the corner of his mouth and said thank you weakly. He wiped off the liquid in front of him calmly. This action did not hide the old man. But he didn't mind. You think too much. Even if you are strong, where can you be strong? But it's just a human being. He won't worry about it when my domain becomes successful. The voice said loudly and powerfully. But he doesn't think he thinks that only with a great domain can it be possible to kill Ryuichi. To Yu Shui's opinion, this evaluation is already very high. Advertisement. At least other leaders would not be evaluated like this. The point is, he is just a human being. In a blink of an eye, 2 days passed since the fighting time. The destroyed city is orderly busy with infrastructure construction. It was also said to those residents that there was a major earthquake, and each household received the corresponding relief fund according to the account. And to ensure that the people who originally owned the property will still arrange the property for them after the construction is completed. After such a set, basically no one will say anything. Of course, there are also rogues who want to blackmail. But these people disappeared from everyone's sight the next day. Everyone is tacit. This day, morning, Ryuichi's office is full of people. Handsome guy Ryuichi, are you going to an island holiday today? Look at the beauty of my paintings. Fu Yi Dowling stood at the desk, wishing to put his entire face on it. After all, a woman is a person who pleases herself, she really hopes to be affirmed by Zenin Ryuichi. Shofu Shangyu was flushed and stood aside with embarrassment. Twist the corners of the clothes lightly with both hands, trying to pull Dowling up, but fearing that his actions will make others uncomfortable. I can only stand here blankly, looking so pitiful. Ryuichi directly ignored Dowling and looked at the others indifferently. Ryuichi, Tingo said that you have a good place to take a vacation. Sha Yuji smiled softly, after all, it was relaxation this time. Happiness is the most important thing. Mr. Ryuichi, I feel tired from work recently. I want to find a place to relax. I'm sorry to trouble you. Yaga Masamiki stood behind, followed by 2 half-human curse skeletons behind him. One of them is holding the grill and the other holding all kinds of ingredients. The purpose is obvious, is to prepare barbecue. Gojo Satoru looked at his watch at this time and seemed to be waiting for someone. Mei Mei's voice sounded from outside, and she was taken aback when she saw so many people in the house. I'm not late, am I? No, the time is right. Ryuichi, let's start, we are ready. The voice just fell. Fuheisher and Fuhehui appeared in the corridor of the House of Everything. Yo, what day is it today? Why are there so many people? Blind, I knew it was you. What about dragging this group of people here and smashing the scene? Although his tone was hostile, he didn't have any murderous aura. The contempt between them has become a habit. As if meeting each other without sacrificing the last 2 sentences, I am sorry for my identity. All the Jujutsu teachers present knew this Tien and Tyrant. Although there is not the slightest momentum on the body. Advertisement. But there was a little chill in my heart. Mei Mei looked at this figure with a different look in her eyes. Her Jujutsu promotion has reached a bottleneck. Even if you continue to practice hard, the improvement is only minimal. Even prepared to stay at this level for a lifetime. But it was the appearance of this man that let her know that the body can be so powerful. With 2 knives, 3 super cursed spirits were beheaded. If it weren't for Gojo Satoru to stop it, the 4th cursed spirit would have died under his sword. The domineering figure was deeply imprinted in her mind. You must exercise your physical fitness to the limit. This is what she asked of herself after this incident. Seeing him here at this moment, I can't help but feel a little ripples in my heart. It would be fine if he had no children. Dowling, who was still playing treasures, felt the embarrassment in the air. Looking back, he found an uncle with a child. Come on, kid, I have chocolate here, do you want to eat it? When Fushiguro Megumi heard these words, he couldn't help leaving a few drops of cold sweat on his face. Don't eat, thank you. Why is it so cool? I broke up with Zenin Ryuichi at such a young age, and I won't find a girlfriend in the future. Puff, puff. Fuheisher and Gojo Satoru almost couldn't help laughing. The others looked weird, their faces flushed. It looks just like constipation. Sister Dowling. Don't talk anymore. Shangyu felt that she was about to become familiar, so she couldn't wait to find a place to get in. Dowling also reacted at this moment, and kept saying sorry. Ryuichi stroked his forehead, feeling helpless to this group of people. The world in the mirror. Open. The glass on the table topped with ripples. In the next second, the scene inside became an island beach. Everyone, come with me. Gojo Satoru made a small start and jumped directly in. Fortunately, there is no debris on Ryuichi's desktop, otherwise the probability of failure is very high. Shangyu didn't want to stay here for a moment, pulling Dowling into it. Not to be outdone, the others stretched their arms into the glass one after another. Then, the whole person slipped in like noodles. Snapped. With the snapping of his fingers, the glass tabletop was calm again. The whole room was quiet again. Boss, good news. Going further, the cursed spirit produced can already complete the curse power closure.